And welcome to the Champ is Here podcast. I am Kevin Cartier alongside my compatriots
Kaliko McGee,
Adam Dunnels,
Corian Paget,
Chris Dunnels.
And first of all, quick shout out to Chris and AJ, first time on the show. We thank you guys for appearing with us. And a shout out to Arthur Sinclair and Stevie Boy Smith. They will be back on next week, so y'all get well. We're going to start today's episode, of course, with our weekly news segment before we get into all the happenings and going ons in the WWE universe. So we'll start on a high note, something pretty cool. I saw that WWE has planned that they're going to do a weekly show now for the Arabic market. So it's going to be in Arabic with Arabic hosts from that region of the world. And from what I saw, it's going to be a combination of Raw, SmackDown, stuff like that, and also exclusive content too. So it'll be interesting. And I think the translation for the show, because I'm not going to try to say it in Arabic, I'll butcher it. But I think the transition is Light It Up, which, little Easter egg, that was AJ Lee's song. So, name of her song. So, any thoughts on WWE all continuing their push to conquer the world?
I'm excited for it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are you going to watch? You said like you're going to watch.
I mean, it's pretty interesting.
If it's on the network, I'm definitely going to check it out.
That actually would be interesting from a rights standpoint. I don't know legally if it's allowed to be on the network.
I think it makes sense though. Like, I mean, with the Jinder Mahal push and everything else that they're doing.
Because
like,
Jinder Mahal's totally Arabic, right?
Well, no, it's more just that whole region.
Yeah, it's
catering to that.
It's steps, right? Baby steps.
Correct. I mean, you're looking at the UK tournament and everything else.
Yeah.
They are trying to. There are untapped markets and untapped regions of people who are going to subscribe to the network.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's almost guaranteed to be on the network because that's what they're trying to get.
And the same thing. I mean, the rumor right now I've heard is that Jinder Mahal was getting the push because of his look. And particularly his skin tone, and they're trying to become more popular.
And we'll get to that. We're
okay, sorry, but I was just saying I feel like that coincides, like Chris was saying, with that push.
And then obviously they're making the move in China and whatnot.
Right.
So it's future fodder for WWE and growth and whatnot. So it's kind of the direction they're going in. And speaking of weekly television shows, WWE is on their biannual European tour. And they're going to be there for probably up until the end of this month. I think it's the next 2.5 weeks or so. They're doing lots of TV tapings, including their new WWE UK show, where they're going to showcase the roster that they introduced during the UK tournament. Current champion is Tyler Bate. Pete Dunne also, Wolfgang, Trent Seven. And the way they're doing it is they're sneaking in the tapings during the tour. So they'll do a show maybe in Italy or something, then they'll fly back to England to tape a show. So I'm excited for the show. How do you guys feel?
Very excited.
Very, very excited. The shows that the UK guys have been putting on, the matches they've been putting on, in NXT have been really good.
So do you think the tournament, because this is almost the same question as the Cruiserweight Classic, is the tournament, is that translatable to a palatable, interesting weekly program?
I
think so.
For the UK brand specifically, yeah, but the Cruiserweights...
that's a different story.
Let's talk about the UK. Let's
different,
keep it to the UK brand right now. Is it feasible to you, KP?
The UK?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what about you? What do you think, Chris?
Definitely. I mean, you've got a market there who seems to eat this stuff up, but also more importantly too, you got to think of it as what WWE can get out of it, because WWE can get new talent to come in, and whether they come into Raw or SmackDown or NXT or 205 Live or whatever, you're getting a whole bunch of new indie wrestlers in the UK brands that aren't in Ring of Honor or TNA or stuff. So you've got whole new markets for WWE.
So do you think the smart play is to keep this a separate brand and grow this and let this be its own thing and kind of play up the fact that it's different and it's European? Or are they going to try to homogenize this eventually? And
I don't think they have to decide on that right now. I think it can be more on the balls of your feet, just kind of go with it and see what happens.
One of the beauties of pro wrestling,
exactly.
Caught in the ring.
And then if it ends up seeming like it could just be completely self-sufficient, then at that point, just feed it and let it grow and let it be its own. But if they have to just merge it into something else, then they have the flexibility to do that too.
I hear that.
I agree.
Okay, so so we're all excited. So in one word, yes or no, we're all excited, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Tyler Bate, shout out. He's the champion. So I'm just curious the format that they're going to choose to use, when they present it. Is it going to be a weekly show? Is it going to be a monthly show? Because they're only doing 2 TV tapings. So that's something we'll see. But moving on, we have to move on. Okay. The next thing I want to touch on is, I saw this on the internet. I thought it was kind of funny. This isn't official WWE, but it's concerning someone that is. Goldberg will be making a special appearance at a club in Las Vegas, and they're calling it the Goldberger VIP package.
Please skip to the end.
You pay $75, and you can get your picture taken with Goldberg and autographed.
What else do you get?
You get the special hamburger where the bun is made or is painted with special gold flake paint.
What is it called?
The Goldburger.
Of course it is.
So,
God.
I just want to ask you guys, yes or no?
No.
Yes.
No.
Is the $75 Goldburger VIP package worth it, McGee?
No.
No. Is it worth it to you, AJ?
No.
What about you, K-Pat?
Yes.
Why is it worth it to you?
If I was in Vegas that weekend, it wouldn't be on my top to-do list. But if I lived in Vegas and I had nothing to do that weekend, I'd spend $75.
Because you're getting to meet Goldberg.
Yeah, if I had nothing to
You're
do that
getting a
weekend,
handshake,
I mean,
a picture, and a
And a gold burger.
Yeah.
You were just skipping.
Once in a
and
lifetime,
going
right?
after,
Because this is what. Because once they make the burger, they're probably going to tear up the recipe card and burn it, right?
Oh, you have to. You have to. It's
right?
like it's.
And then
it's
Goldberg
KFC's.
eats the ashes, right?
I'd pay $75 if he ends up eating the ashes. Then I'd pay the
There
money.
you go.
No, I
agree.
think though for the
But
old school
seriousness.
Goldberg fans, $75 at a meet and greet
In Vegas.
in Vegas.
That's like what
It's
one. That's
fine.
one bet in blackjack, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
do it.
I just
I
lost
do
more
it.
than that at the casino earlier, so
So,
I would gladly pay that.
So you're going to Vegas in a few weeks, right? If this was
Yeah.
happening while you were in Vegas, would you do it?
No.
If it coincided with my schedule already
Yeah,
and I didn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
anything else, then sure, I would pay the $75 for it. Absolutely, because I grew up with Goldberg.
And especially considering, I wish I'd found out, but a regular autograph and picture is probably what $30-$40 already, right?
Probably. That's, I mean,
Why,
it's
why
safe to
not?
say.
Why not go in and get a gourmet Goldburger? Right?
Do you eat the burger with Goldberg, or do you just get the burger?
That would be a good question.
I would eat.
I'm actually-
If you could eat with Goldberg, I would do it.
Yeah,
I was on the
okay,
fence.
okay,
I'd do it if you could eat
okay.
with Goldberg. So moving on.
That was the impression
I
I got.
also wanted to touch on this because I don't know if we touched on this last show. WWE announced their next pay-per-view, the Raw brand pay-per-view for July.
Oh, I'm so excited.
WWE Great Balls of Fire.
God, could they have come up with a stupider name though?
you don't like
they
the
could
name?
have.
Okay, no. Okay, here's the thing. I don't.
Yes, don't put it past
Well,
them.
That's true, that's
well,
true.
here's the beef: is apparently they replaced Bad Blood.
Yeah.
That was one of the proposed names.
And that was an actual pay-per-view that they had at one point.
Yeah.
They had a Bad Blood. So like
They had
the
a
fact
Bad
they
Blood,
brought back Clash of Champions would have been
Clash of Champion.
Clash of Champion. But
would have been. I feel like it would have been nice to bring back Bad Blood as well. But I just don't like the name. The only name I think is dumber than that, and I know we'll get to this later. But I'm sure I think the only name dumber than that is Welcoming Committee.
oh well, so
Yeah.
you're getting away.
I like that. I know we'll get to that
So,
later.
How do you feel about Great Balls of Fire, McGee?
We'll have to see, but it's a funny name.
I don't like the logo.
Of course,
What-
you
what-
were going to
what-
point out the logo.
It's terrible. The font's just I don't like it. But what do you
That's
think?
what he
So,
did.
of course, I mean, obviously when you hear that name, you think of the song, right? You have to.
Right.
Supposed
Right?
to.
A 60-year-old song.
Yeah, I mean that's
We can't-
that's
Oh, I
Mr.
know where you're
McMahon's-
going with that.
That's
Yeah.
the juices that were percolating.
So it's a Mr. McMahon idea. Like, pick something. Get
Everything
with the times.
I mean,
Mr. McMahon.
everything
Yeah,
good or
but
bad at
say-
the end of the day is Mr. McMahon.
He chose something to make him so he didn't,
feels young
like,
now,
Yeah, so
right?
he didn't
He
show
got
his
raw.
age.
He got mad at, or he stopped giving
That's
WrestleMania
the numbers. Yeah, the numbers.
because it sounded
Yeah.
dated,
He
but
wanted
he
to
chose
old.
a dated
But he
song.
chose a 60-year-old
WrestleMania
song.
Star versus Great Balls of Fire.
And-
Or WrestleMania Play Sign. Or WrestleMania Other Shape.
Great Balls of Fire is always worse.
I want to see somebody set on fire, right? Fire has to be involved
yes,
somehow now,
yes.
right?
Is there gonna be- so is there gonna be a
you're-
gimmick match?
Like you're putting it in my mind. I wasn't thinking about.
Yeah,
balls
no,
of
not
fire.
at all.
Oh, don't worry. We'll have House of Horrors Redux on Great Balls of Fire.
No,
I
for real,
thought
for real. Is there a
Joe
gimmick
kept, or
match?
McGee or not McGee? Arthur Sinclair kept pushing that there would be fire in the House of Horror match.
And all he got was
There
red
was.
shade.
It was a red house.
Oh, remember with the lights? I really thought that was time for fire. See, we're getting
It
off
was.
topic.
It was
a
fire.
time
Okay,
for fire.
so we all don't really like the name WWE. Hopefully, the event will deliver. Though we know the guys and gals will.
That's
will
a
bust them
down
out.
for all my WC guys. That's a down. Great Balls of Fire.
So the last thing in the news segment I want to touch on is it's been announced that the rights to create a biopic based on the life of one Vincent Kennedy McMahon has been secured, and they're gonna start casting very soon. The name of the movie is Pandemonium, which I love.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of like late 80s, early 90s, peak golden era WWE wrestling when I first started watching as a fan. So, thoughts? Are you guys going to see the Mr. McMahon movie?
Intrigue.
We kind of have to. I mean, doing what we do here. I mean, if we
so
don't watch
one
that,
interesting question, funny question, because you're a
Okay.
movie guy. Who do you cast as Mr. McMahon?
As Mr.
Tom Hanks.
McMahon.
Tom Hanks, right?
Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Dude.
Is that a
Tom
prediction?
Hanks.
Is that a predict? Like, who am I predicting,
Yeah.
or who do I do it?
Do
Both.
either, however you want to answer.
Both.
Yeah, do both. We have time.
I'll say, like, if I'm dream casting it,
Yeah.
and,
No budget.
and it's
No
Vince
budget.
McMahon.
It has
right,
to be alive.
Yeah, and it's Vince McMahon right now.
Well, somebody that can
Maybe
see him
Harrison
play adult,
Ford right
adult
now.
Mr. McMahon. Adult
Right?
Mr. McMahon. Because you have to be able to get beat up by Stone Cold too. I mean, well, when,
So
when he was
Harrison
younger and
Ford now.
spry,
Yeah,
he's
so it can be
50s.
Harrison Ford now. But here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to skip to this though.
Chris
is
Pratt.
that
Tom
no,
Hardy, right?
No,
Tom Hiddleston. I'm just starting naming white
Vince
actors.
McMahon. It would not surprise me in the least.
This fool
bit.
right here. Who-
No.
That's a
Let
good
me
point.
finish.
That's a good
It would
point.
not surprise me in the least bit if Vince
Same.
McMahon said, "No, the only
shame
way
on
I'm
the
doing
play.
this is if I'm in this movie as myself."
I can see him playing modern Vince McMahon. Like if they did it in like flashbacks where he's like recounting his life to somebody or writing a book or something, and he's like, you know,
They can
current old
show
Vince.
clips of them of him when he was still on screen. You don't have to digitally make him younger. You don't have to make him act younger. But I think there will be no one actually acting
I
like
disagree.
Vince McMahon.
The movie doesn't work if you don't get someone to play him. What do you think? Because this is Oscar bait. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is running away with this.
I mean, Tom Hanks would be a good choice. I think he'd be able to do Vince
I
McMahon
don't
very
think
well.
I don't think Tom Hanks has the gravitas.
But at the same, I think honestly,
Tom Hanks
bro.
is throwing his name on anything right now.
But Tom Hanks doesn't have the gravitas to do Mr.
so
McMahon.
I think though I
In a
think a good
perfect world?
choice.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Someone like someone say his name wrong. You're gonna crucify him.
Of course.
No,
I'm so
that's-
sorry.
John Voight.
Voight? 80-year-old John Voight.
Is he that old?
I mean,
Wow.
for
okay.
a second I thought you were going to be like Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I think
JTT,
Macaulay
yeah, you
Culkin.
know me.
I legitimately think that Daniel Day-Lewis would do a good job.
Okay, there we
But-
go.
Shout out
But-
to Oscar actor.
But at the same time,
What about
I think
RGO?
Who?
Oh, are you talking Robert Downey Jr.? He could do it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Robert
yeah,
Downey
No,
yeah.
Jr.
RGL,
No,
you
no.
are on all kinds of different levels.
That's,
here. Miss Vanna White.
The guy that played in The Dark Knight. Oh, I said
Joseph
yeah,
Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
not
Oh,
RGL.
JGL.
I don't
Yeah.
think he
No.
has the gravitas.
Same,
either.
yeah.
You
But I
need
think-
a greediness to play.
I
Mr.
think
McMahon.
the best. I think a
Ben
good person
Affleck.
that would be able to do it. Man, you saying that just got me off my train of thought. I had somebody in
It
mind.
probably wasn't good.
Okay,
Move
so,
on.
so moving on then. So next we're going to move into our going for the gold segment, which is kind of a general debate, kind of warms us up before we dive into the deep depths of Raw and SmackDown. And for today, right, I wanted to ask, following the Payback pay-per-view, which just happened this past weekend, I'm sure we're all up to date on that,
Definitely.
which superstar, or you can even kind of suggest a feud, was most affected or made you most interested moving forward? Like which kind of new story development or which direction they're taking? It could be Bray Wyatt winning the House of Horrors and beginning this new program with Finn Balor. It could be Jinder Mahal costing Randy Orton the match and where that's going, their WWE Championship feud. It could be the whole triangle saga that's been enveloping the U.S. title with Jericho, Y2J, Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles. It could be the state of the women's division in either show, because with the shakeup and everything that's kind of happened, the main events have been realigning, and we have a new champion, obviously, in one of those. Or it could even be the storyline that's been dominating Raw, which is Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and where that's leading, because it's looking like, after what General Manager Angle said, that's not going to end anytime soon. So we'll start with you, Chris. What do you think is what are you most interested in moving forward since?
Well, on the night of, I think the thing that was most surprising would have been Jericho winning, because it had already been leaked out that Jericho was going to be leaving for a while. So when you see that and you see him retain, but you also know that he's on SmackDown, you're like, well, maybe he's not leaving now. So that was, of course, going to be my first thought there. But then they fixed that on the subsequent SmackDown. But I'd say right now, moving forward, it would have to be the decision to move the belt to Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
I think it was surprising. It's risky, I think, because I know that they wanted to continue building up Bayley. It also seems like
but I feel like Bayley is better chasing than underdog.
to a degree, and it also reaffirms to me that Vince doesn't care where you're from. If you're in a hometown and you are fighting there,
It's
you
good
will
heat.
lose.
It's good heat.
It's good heat.
So
That's
that's
what
you're
it
saying.
is. It's good
so,
heat.
okay, well, we'll move on to you then. So what story are you most...
Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I just meant that was a good point about the good heat. But I would say probably
You're
the
on
match
the
that
clock,
I'm
pal.
the match that I'm most interested in, the feud that I'm most interested in now is probably the title picture on SmackDown.
Okay.
With Jinder Mahal and
Does Jinder
and
have a
Randy
legitimate
Orton.
chance to win it? Yes or no?
I think so.
Okay. So
I think so.
And is that part of the reason why it's so interesting to you?
Yeah.
Is the fact that he may win? Because that's what's interesting to me about that.
Exactly. Yeah. Because when you look at the other title pictures, particularly what I'm thinking of is the tag titles on SmackDown. I don't feel like those underdog contenders have a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like the Fashion Police have a shot. But when you look at this, you still see Jinder as that same kind of underdog contender.
Mm-hmm.
But he, on the other hand, does I feel have a very legitimate shot of winning.
Okay.
Especially if they make it a triple threat, as some of the rumors have been suggesting.
Oh, and he has his new posse too.
Exactly, with the new posse, that
Okay.
could definitely help.
So,
him.
Mr. McGee, what about you moving forward after the payback and the Superstar Shakeup? What's interesting to you right now?
Braun Strowman and Roman
Wrong.
Reigns.
I mean, it's that's been like a car crash every time.
Yeah,
right?
an enjoyable car crash every time.
So they're gearing up for a third installment then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ugh.
So what is this? Is this going to be at Great Balls of Fire, or what's going to happen with this? What do you think? Is this going to be a long run thing?
I think it's
Or
going to
does
be.
Or does Braun run over Roman on his way to Brock Lesnar? Because I mean, the winner of this has to face Brock Lesnar, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I want to see it go long, but yeah, the outcome is going to be Braun Strowman and Lesnar.
Okay. So how much longer does this thing last, Roman Reigns? Then
Probably
a week, 2 weeks, a month?
I'll probably say a month.
Because I'm thinking they could stretch Braun Brock until SummerSlam.
Yeah, 'cause
that's a big money match.
I mean, and he's not only just picking on Roman Reigns, he's picking on the other people that are out there.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But he's finally hurt now. So we've seen him finally get hurt. He's
Yeah.
susceptible to pain.
Yeah.
But okay, so we'll keep our eye on that. And last but not least, KP, what do you think is the most interesting story going right now?
RKO versus Jinder Mahal.
Okay.
And reason being, man, is like the same as AJ was just saying. You really just don't know what they got going on with that feud.
They're doing a good job.
The
so far.
only disappointing part, they kind of cleared it up at the end, was how he took the belt from Randy, and Orton still had this match with Wyatt, and it's like, bro, you don't. If that was my belt being stolen, I don't know if I could go face Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
But they kind of tied it all back by having Jinder come in, attack Randy during that match. So just when he thought he was going to clean up one mess, they made him say, "Oh no, you got this whole new mess with Jinder Mahal."
And yeah, I agree. I have to agree that going forward right now, I'm thinking it's Jinder Mahal, Randy Orton on the SmackDown. For really what both these guys said, the unpredictability of it, that's why I like to watch. I like not being able to always predict everything. You know, it's fun to try to, but when they genuinely do something that's surprising or they give someone new a chance, that's when it's refreshing. And especially a guy like this that looks like he's kind of taking the ball and running with it, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm not just going to, automatically just try to discard him because how he was booked in the past.
Right.
Because if that was the case,
A lot of these guys want.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
See, here's my issue with it though. Like, I feel like even if Jinder Mahal takes the belt,
Okay.
do you think he has a long run?
He doesn't have to.
Just answer that question.
Okay,
Do you
'cause
think
I'll
he'll have a
answer-
long
But
I'll answer
long
the
doesn't
question like
necessarily
this.
good.
I answer it like this. Wrestling's one of those things we just were talking about. It. Part of the beauty of it is they can change on the fly
Correct.
with what's going on. So if you give him the belt and he's able to get over and get heat, it's like, why not? Why not give him a real run and legitimize him? So then people that are his critic right now, then they're critiquing him by saying, this isn't going to be a legitimate run anyway, why are you wasting our time? If you do something substantial with this and you make those people into believers, after he loses the belt, then he's the made guy, right? Is that not true? Was that not worth it then? If you could build a guy and maybe build other guys in the process off that? Because I'll say this, there's no one like him right now in the company, right? Outside of
What do you
him.
mean? No one like him?
They don't have a look like him. I mean, this potential of breaking through this glass ceiling. I mean, there's other guys that could, but they chose him.
Because even though he's a heel,
and
I'm
he's-
cheering for him.
And he's not crumbling though.
Why are you cheering for him? Is it just because it's against Randy?
No,
I don't like Randy. That probably also helps me.
I like
my-
Randy Orton, but the fact that he's an underdog,
Yeah.
I'm cheering.
Yeah.
That he
Same.
came
Like
from.
he came from
nothing.
He's actually risen.
Yeah.
Like and
he's
it
running with it though. It's working. He's not crumbling.
Yeah.
He's not getting on the mic and cutting bad promos. He's not sloppy in the ring. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's saying everything with conviction.
Like,
and that's what you want your bad guy to be. If he's going to be a terrible person, he's a terrible person because he thinks it's the right thing to do.
What this reminds me of, in a lot of ways, is the Dolph Ziggler push when he was against
And it didn't work.
Dean Ambrose. No. When Dean Ambrose had the belt, they
Right.
just needed someone in the meantime
Oh, a holdover?
And they just and they had someone who had been booked pretty poorly leading up to that point,
Right.
and they just gave a monster push. And leading up actually to the Ambrose Ziggler match, everyone was like, "Well, honestly, now I'm not sure. Maybe Ziggler could actually take it."
Right.
I just
I
see.
never felt that way about Ziggler.
I didn't
See,
either.
I feel like a lot of people were like,
So we'll see moving forward in the future then if this is a placeholder feud or if Ginger is truly not to be hindered. So join us next segment.
Hard body.
Join us next
Hard
segment.
body.
We're going to talk about the Red Brand Raw. So we'll see you then at Champ Is Here Show.
At Champ Is Here Show.
At ChampIsHereShow.
At ChampIsHereShow.
The strongest brand in the line.
Hi, I'm Kevin Cartier,
And I'm Stevie Boy Smith.
and thanks for watching the Champ Is Here podcast.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ChampIsHereShow and subscribe to our YouTube page at ChampIsHereShow.
At Champ Is Here Show. At Champ Is Here Show. And we're back to the Champ Is Here Show. I am, of course, Kevin Cartier, and we're going to talk about our quick question of the day. Okay? So you guys, get ready. Get ready to leave your comments, because I know this one's going to be kind of a... We'll see. Pick your favorite team that consisted of at least 2 superstars who were already solo stars in their own right
Almost like an all-star tag team.
that joined forces. Exactly. Almost like Cesaro. We see Sheamus and Cesaro joining forces.
Right.
Yeah.
Sheamus and
So we'll go ahead. We'll start with you then, Chris. Who is your favorite team of solo guys that came together
Roman
to join
Reigns.
forces? Roman Reigns and who?
Roman Reigns.
Okay, so Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns can do all. Roman Reigns.
So what about you, Corian?
I got so many, man. My first would have to be the 2-man power trip.
Okay.
And I
And
compare
for the
them.
people out there, who was that?
That's Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H.
And this was in the era
Right after
WrestleMania
WrestleMania
7?
17, my favorite WrestleMania. That actually, not only is
What
it my
happened at the
favorite
end of WrestleMania
WrestleMania, Stone Cold turned heel. And if you guys don't know what heel means, he went rogue. Him and Vince McMahon, he teamed up with the Evil Empire. He hit Vince McMahon hit The Rock in the back with a steel chair. 1, 2, 3, Stone Cold wins. The next night on
I think
Raw,
Stone Cold took a chair from him, right?
Yeah.
Right,
If I'm not
right.
mistaken.
For the shook hands.
right,
Right.
And then the next night on Raw, Triple H was sitting there like, man, Vince, why you choose Stone Cold? Why didn't you choose me? I believe there was a steel cage match that night. Triple H comes out, and him and Stone Cold actually team up. And later on that summer, that was the same summer as Invasion, before Triple H tears his quad.
And that was with Chris Jericho and then Raw. The infamous,
Right.
he finished the match.
Yeah.
So you said you had another one in mind. What was your other one?
Well, before I go to my next team, that team actually won the world title, Intercontinental, and the tag team in
Oh, the gold almost.
short time frame.
Right?
My other one was the Mega Powers, the ones who I feel almost started this.
Hulk Hogan and
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Right? And at least to WrestleMania 5.
Yes.
Oh, and Miss
4.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, 5. You're right. 5.
Roman
Elizabeth,
Reigns could be
shout out. So, okay, Roman Reigns could beat all of them at the same time.
With
What-
a hand baton.
So what'd you think, McGee? Who was yours?
Mine, Cesaro.
Cesaro, tell the people why.
Because there's always been...
I know you're a fan of kilts, but they didn't know that.
I really like Sheamus. But there's always been that whole, there's 2 people just put together that didn't like it. But these 2, it was just like... It's not that they didn't like each other. It's just that they were being underused. So it's like, let's make an opportunity out of this. We're both guys going the same path. Let's just join together. And they kept their interests separate.
Right?
And then they kind of meshed it together, but they still kept them separate. So it was kind of like... Kind of like 2 roads, but we're on the same path, kind of thing.
Yeah, I enjoy the fact that they both work a very physical style. They're both bigger guys, and they kind of complement one another in that regard when they work.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. And it's also, like you said, they kept their separate personalities. So, okay.
And Roman Reigns would still be both of them also.
I think he might have done that before. So, AJ, what would your answer be?
Oh, well, I originally was going to go with Shawn Michaels and John Cena.
Okay.
I thought they had a solid run
From the era of right before the WrestleMania match. What was that? WrestleMania 24?
It was 20. I think it was 20. My original instinct was 23, but it might have been 24. Yeah, it might have actually.
Okay,
been.
so who's your
Yeah.
answer?
Okay, so my actual answer though is actually going to be Rated RKO.
Okay.
The team of Randy Orton and Edge. And my reason being is because when they were feuding with DX, I really liked their feud because they said they wanted to destroy DX, right?
Right.
And in a way, they kind of did it. Because in their match with Shawn Michaels and Triple H at New Year's Revolution, that was when Triple H was injured. Now, granted, he might not have necessarily been injured by them, but it played into the story. They were like, our goal was to destroy DX, and we did it. And that never happens with a heel tag team. Granted, it might have just been serendipitous that Triple H was injured, and I don't like to see Triple H being injured, or anyone being injured, of course. But it worked. It worked for the story. It was a nice.
So, I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns beat Rated RKO as well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he might.
I think so.
Plus
Yeah.
Batista, right?
Yeah.
So
That
my
did happen.
answer, before we have to go, because we have to wrap up in a second. My bad. My answer is Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin from 1997, roughly. I believe Shawn was either the world champion or he just was. Stone Cold was the new hot thing coming up, and they teamed up, won the tag team titles. And I think it's King of the Ring 97. They have a really good match one-on-one as the tag team champions against each other. So it's a really unique, kind of one of those like quirky wrestling things that can only happen every now and then.
What, you have Shawn Michaels listed as one of your favorites in something?
It's shocking. I know. It's like the people that know me would not even recognize my
Wow.
answer right now.
And I'm
So
pretty
that
sure
is
Roman
my
Reigns
answer.
would have beat them, too.
That's my answer of the question of the day. What is y'all's favorite all-star tag team pairing that came together to do something bigger? It could be the Mega Powers, Rated RKO,
Rey
Cesaro,
Mysterio and
Or
Cesaro.
Roman
it could be Jericho. It could be a lot of different answers. So like, comment, subscribe, and you let us know. And if you have any ideas for a future question of the day, let us know. Who knows what next week's question of the day is going to be, right?
Right.
Champ is
Who
Here
knows?
Show. At Champ is Here Show.
At Champ is Here Show.
And next segment, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw.
The champ is here!
And we're back to the Champ is Here podcast, and we're about to dive into the Red Brand Monday Night Raw. So, this is the first episode after the WWE Payback special. That was a Raw brand pay-per-view special, and it started with kind of a unique thing before. We've seen celebrations, we've seen different kinds of parties and programs and weddings and ceremonies and whatnot. To my understanding, this was the first coronation we've seen, at least non-King of the Ring related. And it started with all the women in the current Raw women's division out in the ring already, except one, conspicuous by her absence, was the current champion and the first champion to win both divisions champions, Alexa Bliss. So before we get into what happened, how do you guys feel about the fact that it was Alexa, not Charlotte or Sasha or Bayley, that was the first to win the dual brand championship thing? What do you think about that, AJ?
Well, I think Sasha and I think Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, and Becky Lynch, you know, the four horsewomen, they have that distinction,
Right.
and they have the talent, they have something to carry them already. So I think it was a smart idea to give that distinction of being the first woman to win both titles to
Someone else.
to
So
give
a
them that
relative,
sort of,
and a relative newbie too, as comparatively
Yeah.
speaking.
yeah.
But she's taken to. So are you more impressed by her in-ring ability or her character and mic work?
I think her character, I think her mic work and really improves her character. She is great on the mic.
She's very confident.
She's very
sure of
confident,
herself.
and that's what you want in a heel.
In a good
Yeah.
promo, if you ask me, in a good heel especially, you want them to say it with conviction. And Alexa does that.
And one of the best things that I think she does is her crowd responses.
Yeah.
When the crowd's trying to mess with her.
Yeah.
And she just
That's also being
she cuts it
comfortable
off.
with her character.
Oh,
That she
exactly.
knows
It all
when
comes-
she can kind of pick up and improvise and stuff. And I think that really helps out. So you kind of spoke up a second, McGee. What do you think of Alexa Bliss being the first women's champion in both brands?
Dude, I like it. I mean, it's already been explained. She's that fresh face, and you're kind of seeing that a lot, like Strowman, a lot of these other ones just popping out of the woodworks and like running with it. Like
she took to it really well.
like they're taking to it so, and she's holding both.
Yeah.
So that puts her on the status like he said of the four horsemen.
And
And all
legitimizes
of
her to
them.
an extent, don't you think, Chris?
Oh, Alexa Baszler, the best, for sure. She's great on the mic. She's great in the ring. She's wonderful. She's lovely.
Look at
She's
him
perfect.
glowing. My goodness.
Something other than
Anytime
Roman
we
Reigns.
let's continue. But just the whole podcast.
He's melting in the
about-
chair. We need
just
to move
about
on.
Alexa
Corey,
Bliss.
so what do you think of Alexa
I
Bliss?
wasn't done.
You're not making any sense anymore. Corey, what do you think?
Well, when she
We
first
know how
started
you
off in NXT as the valet for Blake and Murphy, I did not see these.
She's
goals
really taken
for
to
her.
it really
She,
quickly.
yeah,
Her
she
her
has
in-ring
came
game,
up. Yeah,
her speech, her promos, her
It's
character
beautiful.
She was
work.
clearly out of those three the one who was going to rise, though.
Yeah.
I agree.
Blake
I-
Murphy and
the minute,
yeah,
the minute she
yeah.
started kind of finding herself,
Yeah,
I agree.
correct.
She
Yeah.
progressed the fastest. Okay, so we're all Alexa Bliss fans here. So moving on,
Yes.
she comes out, and there's a podium platform thing set up for her, and she poses and she cuts this promo. And she kind of goes down the line, and she kind of badmouths everybody except the heels, especially Nia Jax.
Especially Nia Jax.
And she saves the worst of it, the brunt of it, for Bayley at the end, and it leads to an all-out brawl.
She even threw kind of like a jab at Charlotte in there, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit. But Charlotte wasn't there. Charlotte's on the blueprint. We're going to get to her in a minute. But it leads to an all-out brawl amongst the 8 ladies. It just so happens there's 8 out there, right? Imagine that. We come back from commercial break, and Joe Manager Angle has made an 8-women tag match.
A la Teddy Long.
A la Teddy Long.
Tag team
Hall
match.
of Famer Teddy Long.
Tag
too.
team
Hall of
player.
So, I don't want to be negative, but was this a way to get all the women involved and then just kind of get it out the way?
Yeah.
Or what do you? Or
That's
was,
what I thought.
Or was this
First thing
something
I saw.
fun?
It was just something to get out of the way.
What about
I
you?
think right now they're trying to figure out a way to get all the women involved in the story, and I think it was a good. I think that was what they were
It
doing.
was good to see
But
Alicia Fox too.
It was
I
good
will
to
say
see,
that.
and
Wrestling.
also
Alicia
Dana
Fox.
Brooke was well protected.
Yep.
In that, and she looked good in the minimal amount that she did.
It was a way just to get them on TV.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a way to get them on TV, but it didn't have to be. They could have done better by
They
creating. When you
definitely
put
could have
8 people in the ring together,
Yep.
if they don't have a story yet, give them one when the match is
Exactly
over.
in the match. I
So
agree.
that's the issue there.
Plant the
It's
seeds.
The way that it
Do
was
some gardening.
used,
Which they kind of
was-
did
it
later
was
on
just-
that night.
Well, okay,
Correct.
Well, so
With
let me
the
ask you
men.
this then. Before we move on from the women's division, then we saw 8 of the women from Raw, maybe the whole roster. Out of those, aside from of course the women that have already been champion or are currently
The answer is
champion,
Alexa.
who is the next one up? Is it going to be Nia, a heel Nia? Is it going to be a face Dana Brooke, like you just mentioned? Is it going to be Dark Emma coming back?
Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox is making an appearance. Who is your person to watch in the women's division right now?
Nia Jax.
Give us a name.
It's got to be Dana, depending on how she does.
Go ahead, Boogie. I'm putting you on the spot right now. Pick somebody.
Face Dana.
Face Dana Brooke. And your answer
So,
already Alexa?
really, what's the question? Is it who's going to be the next one to challenge Alexa for the belt? Is that the question, or who's the one to watch? Because I think there's going to be
Who's the one to
two-
watch? Who are you watching?
Yeah. So, first to get the belt, I think it's probably going to be Nia. But who am I going to be watching? It's probably going to be Sasha. Like, I want to see if they go
Okay.
with a full heel turn on Sasha eventually. I think
So
there
that's
are-
so that's more interesting than a possible new young lioness rising up is watching what they're going to do with Sasha Banks.
Yes, I think so.
Okay,
I think
fair
that
enough.
story there could be exciting because
So-
I think Sasha's play as that tweener heel is more exciting.
And personally, before we move on, I think Sasha plays a better heel.
Same
And
here.
the
Agreed.
boss
Same
the
here.
boss persona is better
Correct.
fitting
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
bad guy. So moving on after that, and of course, yes, and I think the faces won. Correct, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yes.
So moving on, we saw Enzo and Cass walking backstage on their way to the ring. And the club ends up interrupting Enzo and Cass when they're doing their shtick on the way to the ring. And I don't know about, I kind of want to hear from you guys. How do you guys feel about Enzo and Cass? Because I'm kind of thinking they're getting long in the tooth. But
They
just real quick.
definitely are.
Yeah.
They're
They
very-
were all right at the beginning.
Well, specifically Doubles, because we've never heard them talk about.
So
Ink.
I think Enzo and Cass were originally over.
Right.
I think they weren't now. They aren't as much now. I
Are
thought
they a
that.
catchphrase? Is the gimmick, is the catchphrase over or are they over?
The catchphrase.
I think they were initially because they were hot and they had
Right.
that fresh pop.
Right.
I think that WWE missed the chance to put the belts on them
Right.
to give them a chance to kind of become refreshing again.
Mm-hmm.
But as they stand now, I feel bad because they can still get a crowd hyped in the beginning.
Right.
Sometimes their
Yeah.
promos can last a little
And
longer.
then
But
they fall short.
right now, I just don't see where they're going. So it's kind of depressing because I like them, but I'm not sure.
So you think they have a ceiling on them?
Right now,
It's not
based,
sad team
based
chance.
on
Yeah.
what has happened so far,
Mm-hmm.
if you weren't going to put the belts on them now already, I don't see it happening. So yes.
And real quick,
Yeah, well, I'm kind of the same mindset. I'm really
Okay.
not a, I'm
Wait,
really
okay.
not an
Well,
Enzo
so-
fan.
so
But
speak-
here's,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I
No,
just
no,
think
go ahead, go
I think
ahead.
the way to make them fresh, because I agree they feel stale. It's because they've been feuding with the club for the past 6 months. I remember they had a
so
match
move
in
on.
October. Get them in another feud. That's
Yep.
how to make them fresh again.
well, so what ends up happening is Gallows wins. He pins Enzo, and I kind of agree. I think it's time for there to be a definitive winner in this, and whoever wins this feud needs to go ahead and move on into the tag team title picture.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right? Because Enzo and Cass have never had it, and the club kind of had a weird patchy run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Up next, we have the current and still King of the Cruiserweights, Neville, who retained the belt. He lost the match, but he retained the belt at Payback. And TJP actually came up, the newly minted TJP, right? I might add.
New name.
He came up and basically confronted Neville, almost kind of inferring that Neville had to cheat to get out. And Neville, and I love the way he said it, because Neville, speaking to people that have like really developed and come to their own, Neville on the mic has gotten so much better. Yeah. So he even says to TJP, I respect you, but I don't let anyone talk like that to the king. And he inferred that we, meaning both of them, still have the Austin Aries problem to take care of, which leads us into our next match, if I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't that? No, I'm sorry. That is that is the next match. Okay, so basically what ends up happening is after the promo, Neville has put into TJP's head that you have to get Austin Aries. So Seth Rollins ends up coming out before the match, cuts a promo, Finn Balor interrupts, Dean Ambrose comes out. So we'll have to get back to the Cruiserweights, I guess, my bad. So Dean Ambrose ends up coming out, and The Miz shows up, and basically, long story short, we have a triple threat match to determine the IC champion, right, later on that night.
The number one contender for the IC.
You're right. The chance to meet Dean Ambrose for the IC championship. So, first of all, was it shocking to see these three guys put together in this manner after what happened at Payback? You have one guy that just beat Samoa Joe. You have one guy that is the first Universal Champion that really hasn't done anything since he came back. And then you have one of the hottest heels in the game right now. I mean, was it surprising to see these three put together?
No, I think this is exactly what we were talking about with the women.
Right.
That this was the chance to get everyone in a match together, get them their FaceTime on Raw,
and realign them,
and then get new feuds or reaffirm, what might have been fringy feuds. So now the audience knows exactly where we're going.
The thing I didn't like about it is both Seth Rollins and Finn Balor came out talking about, I want the Universal title.
Yep.
I want the Universal title. And then it almost was like, well, here's a consolation prize that I
That's true, but I also think it was one of those things where they had to do it kind of like that to address the elephant in the room of the Universal title not being there.
Right.
And there has to be something of value to fight for in the interim.
But to me, it made it the Intercontinental, instead of raising the Intercontinental title, it made it seem so low.
It was one of those uncomfortable truths they had to address it.
Yeah.
Yes, it makes it seem like it makes the Intercontinental Championship seem like a lower belt than the big belt,
right.
But it is a lower belt.
It is a
mid-card
title.
It is, but it felt doing this at least made it feel like a bigger deal than it has been.
Three people that
because
were
look at the caliber of those people who are
that's
going
what caught
for
my
it.
attention. Yeah.
And right now, when it was on SmackDown and it just wasn't being defended at all for periods of time, like no, I am more than happy to see the John Cena style, like come at me, bro. Like, come get this belt.
I want to see that.
This is a huge step up. I feel like this is elevating.
But for me, it was a step down. If I was, if in kayfabe, in storyline, if I was like, no, I want the Universal title, you can't have it. Here's the Intercontinental title. I'd be like, bro, what? Now, if they, in my opinion, they should have just came out and said, hey, we need a challenger for Dean Ambrose. Y'all three in here right now. Don't mention the Universal title because it's not there anyway.
Right.
Make these
so
three fight
you
for
moved
it.
it out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
That's what they not even mentioned.
Yeah, because we all know Braun Strowman's the next challenger.
I kind of liked it. I would have.
Does it elevate the IC title or does it devalue? What do you think? Like, what they're just debating?
I wasn't really in for the title, to be honest. I just wanted
you
to
just like the match.
I just wanted to see Balor go
It doesn't matter. I would say
interesting too. Balor Rollins is interesting.
I would say it raised the value of the title. I agree with UK Bad in that it in the
long run I feel like it's going to raise it, but
I agree with you in the out of sight, out of mind. Like I wouldn't have mentioned the Universal title, but I definitely think the IC title is now the main title on Raw until Lesnar comes back.
And what were you going to say?
I'm sorry.
When I was looking at that match, people might not agree with me, but I was thinking when I saw those two at it, it was more like a Jackie Chan, Jet Li in that movie. Like everybody went to that's what they wanted to see.
So we'll get to the main event and we're going to debate this further. So moving on, after the promo that sets up the main event for the night, we have a quick 6-man tag match with the Cruiserweights. It's Rich Swann, Kira Tozawa, Jack Gallagher teaming versus Tony Nese, Noam Dar, and Brian Kendrick. And big surprise, the baby faces win. To me, this felt like we got to get a bunch of people on the show match. It was decent for what it was, but it was kind of filler and kind of pull over to kind of watch 205 Live. That's kind of what they were trying to throw out there. So after that, we get to see a recap of the Hardy Boys and Cesaro, the punt heard around the world. Jeff Hardy, R.I.P. his tooth. Wow, that's all I could say. I mean, reactions?
Toothless aggression.
What'd you think? When you saw it live?
Hashtag toothless aggression. Please get that trending.
Toothless aggression, man. So yeah, it was a very interesting match. I mean, Matt Hardy bled from the eye. That was
weird.
Look, my brain was melting at that point.
Would you say his tooth is broken?
So
I hate everybody.
Cesaro comes out to the ring, and it's this new look, almost Boondock Saints-ish. Cesaro. They're doing the poses and whatnot, and they have the black jackets with the patches and stuff. And they basically cut this promo explaining why. And Sheamus said, "I never really liked you guys in the first place," talking about the crowd.
Right.
He said Cesaro was the one that believed. And then they go on this tangent about how the Hardys show up and took their advantage and took their thunder and all this essentially, which basically, kind of embittered them and led them to what happened. So, does this make you guys more interested? Is this going to be a feud that's going to be long running? Or
Yes.
So heel Cesaro interested.
I want them to be the ones to take the titles off the Hardys.
Okay.
I think they should be.
And then pretty much, if and when they do beat the Hardys, is this going to be then the feud? Is the Hardys are going to go on their way and do something else?
I think so.
That's always been the long term. If you believe the rumors, that's always been long term.
Okay, so we'll do it like this real quick because we're out of time. So long term, is the tag team title this feud about Cesaro winning the belt and moving on, or the Hardys the future in the tag division?
Cesaro.
Neither.
Okay, so what do you think?
I think that Roman Reigns and Alexa Bliss will...
Go ahead, K-Pad.
Cesaro will win this feud.
Okay.
But I think they're transitional champs to who? Maybe the Revival.
Okay.
So that's what I think. Actually, if I'm going to be
You go
honest
hard,
today,
yeah.
I think that Cesaro Sheamus actually lose.
Mhm.
I think the Revival are the ones who beat the
Beat the
Hardys.
Hardys and get
I
that
think
rub?
Cesaro and Sheamus lose and break up, and that spawns them going
Back into a feud. We've heard McGee say that before. So after this promo, the Hardys do show up, I should say, and then they cut a little promo where Matt's showing more and more characteristics of the broken Matt Hardy, and he says we're gonna go delete you. I think he even said it.
Something to that effect.
He implied it, yeah. But of course, like the classic wrestling move, when the minute the good guys hit the ring, the bad guys leave, right?
Correct.
So it leaves you wanting more, right? So afterwards, we see the first of what's going to be 3 interviews that Dean Ambrose ends up conducting with the 3 participants in the triple threat. And they each were kind of interesting for their own reason. He does the one with The Miz where, he doesn't really like The Miz. So, that was kind of the whole dynamic there. He does the one with Finn Balor where it ends with him saying, "Come on, eat a carb."
You give them the donut.
Right.
The Seth Rollins.
And then I think even the Drifter, does the Drifter show up on that
Yeah,
one?
he does.
Yeah.
And then the Drifter shows up, which, we still don't know what he's doing. I kind of like how they have him just showing up and leaving, though. I kind of like that they're not doing the traditional, we're going to force him down your throat, like with vignettes or whatever, we're going to pound him hard over your head. Like, we're just going to kind of ease him in here and there, kind of, work him in. And then he did the one with Seth Rollins, which played off their tension in the past, about both of them having kind of a heat with one another. But now they're both good guys, so this is one of the few times that they've interacted since then. Mm-hmm. So it's been kind of interesting. And it ends with Dean saying, "No, I've been tricked once, I'm not going to fall for it again," basically. Implying that the Shield breakup, exactly. So what do you guys think of the promos? Does it help build the suspense and the drama to see the match later in the night?
I say yes.
No.
Especially in
Really?
Seth and
No,
Dean.
it was filling a 3-hour show.
Okay.
I'm gonna agree. I feel like I remember watching the match announcement, and I knew that the Miz was gonna win because we knew that Finn and Wyatt was gonna be the next program,
Right.
and we pretty much knew based on the inconclusive finish of Payback with Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Like we knew that was going to be the next program with Seth.
Okay.
So it kind of left the Miz as the only viable option for who was going to win.
I kind of thought the same thing going into it because I watched the match, that main event, the next day, and I think you were over here, and I even said I think kind of the Miz for the same kind of reason.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah.
You found him entertaining?
Yeah. Especially the Seth and Dean.
Not really.
Filler?
Yeah, it was filler. Then that I wasn't feeling that. Come on, eat a carb, bro. It was like,
Yeah, okay. That was one of the things you're either going to hate it or love it about
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose. So, okay, now that we're here and we're going to talk about the match itself, First of all, the match itself started kind of slow if you ask me. The Miz was playing the heel. I'm going to kind of be the coward and hide on the outside. And eventually the good guys smartened up and they chased him down, and kind of that's when the action really started, about 5-10 minutes into the match. But once it got cooking, I think it was really... The flashes of what could be with Seth and Finn was interesting. And
they kept getting interrupted.
And the Miz kept playing the great cowardly bad guy. He plays that role very well. Eventually Samoa Joe shows up, attacks Seth Rollins, and right when it looks like Finn Balor has the match won, Bray Wyatt shows up out of nowhere.
Yep.
After talking to Mr. Angle earlier in the night and saying pretty much, I'm going to wreck shop, I'm going to mess everything up.
Yep.
So we'll start with you, K-Pat. The Miz wins. It's the Miz and Dean Ambrose, right? It's
right.
Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, and it's Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins. Which of the three are you most looking forward to?
I'm gonna say Finn and Bray.
Okay, just give us a real quick why.
Reason being, storyline wise, I think that has the most intrigue.
Potential?
Match wise, I think Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins will have the better quality match wise feud. But Miz and Dean, I'm like, we've seen that 1,000 times already.
I'm not sure which of the three I like the most, but I know which of the three I'm least excited about.
Okay, give us that one.
And it's the one Corin just said.
Miz and Dean?
No.
Finn and Wyatt?
Oh, that's what you least look forward to.
Because I think, in my opinion, again, I could be wrong, at me, that...
At Donald's, what is he?
Yep. That Finn's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And...
You didn't want to do that.
And Bray will lose another major feud.
I wish Arthur was here.
Wow, okay.
So
Right,
you
stirring the pot. So what do you think? Which one are you most interested in?
Most interested in Seth and Finn.
Wait,
That's not
that's
what
not
it is.
the
Well, we're just
what?
making... And Roman Reigns
My bad.
We have Finn and Bray.
Yeah. It's Finn and Bray's the least, but
Seth and Samoa
Yeah,
Joe.
Seth and Samoa Joe.
So
My
the
bad.
continuation. And what about you?
I'm gonna agree with K-Pat. I think Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt because of their characters.
Okay.
Because of their entrances, it's going to be awesome.
We know Finn's gonna win, but I think their characters
It's just
tell
a
a
little
good
bit longer
story.
than the matches. So, real quick, before we end this segment, one answer, one name. Who is the champ of the night for Monday Night Raw? Distill it down. Pick one person you thought showed who had the best showing. So we'll start with McGee. Who do you think? Who's your champ of the night? Can't say Braun Strowman.
I wasn't going to say Braun Strowman
Braun
8 weeks in a row.
So go ahead. You can't say Braun.
Why can't you say Braun?
Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose, IC champion. What about you? Who's
Miz.
your champ of the night? The Miz. Number one contender for the IC title. What about you, Chris?
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Not on the show. Hell of a match at Payback. What about you?
I'm going to say Dean.
Dean Ambrose?
Dean.
I'm going to say the Drifter. Just because
No.
I really like that.
Oh.
You look like you hate me. So join us the next segment. We're going to dive into the blue brand, SmackDown Live. Hopefully you'll be there for us at ChampIsHereShow.
At ChampIsHereShow.
At ChampIsHereShow.
Strongest brand in the land.
Didn't spill my drink either. Well, actually, we're going to talk about NXT and 205 Live.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Kev, but I've got a great new idea. So just hear me out. Okay. It's called at Champions Here Show Podcast, the strongest brand in the land. What do you think about it? I mean, is it over? Do you like it? I think it's a great idea.
So please subscribe on YouTube at ChampIsHereShow. Like and follow on Twitter and Instagram at ChampIsHereShow.
The strongest brand in the land. At Champions Here Show.
And we're back to the Champ Is Here show. And we are now going to, before we get into the blue brand, we're going to talk about SmackDown Live, or excuse me, NXT and 205 Live, which is after SmackDown Live. So first we're going to start with 205 Live, the Cruiserweights. Neville is still king, as we said in the last show. He's still talking to TJP, trying to get him to take Austin Aries out. So, if I'm not mistaken, we didn't really touch on this in the last segment. They did have a match, and after the match, Austin Aries won. But after the match, TJP attacks him and goes after the leg, weakening him, hopefully, for Neville. So, speaking of TJP, our former hero, the first Cruiserweight champion in WWE, this new current run, he has a match with the returning Lindsay Dorado. And I have in my notes, Lindsay Dorado had a dope cape with the little shoulder pads. I thought it was cool. It was like suede or something like that. And they had a decent match, but of course TJP wins because he's the guy in the big storyline right now. They're heating him up. But overall, what do you guys think of the new heel TJP? Are you guys fans of this new rebranded?
Like I said before, I like the heel TJP. I just felt like as a face, he was kind of still.
It gives him more personality. It gives him more leeway to add to really act.
You see him starting to go back at Neville too, like getting witty
kind of getting wordy,
standing up for himself.
Yeah, but it's interesting because this was a guy who was so wood in his delivery before he's finally getting comfortable.
And it makes me want to watch him.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to have to stay a heel, though. I think this.
I
think that the plan will be for Aries to take the belt from Neville, and then Neville and TJP to have a falling out, have that little mini quick feud with a face turn from TJP, and then
Neville's money,
and then maybe TJP Aries, who comes out of that, probably Roman Reigns, but TJP is probably going to face turn eventually. In which case, at that point. Hopefully he's able to retain this mic work.
It'll be the classic move of turning a stale baby face heel to make them comfortable and get them over with the crowd.
Shout out to The Rock.
The Rock is the Rock and the New Day. To me, the New Day is the modern example, but The Rock is the classic example.
And what they won't do with Roman Reigns.
Correct.
Well, so, he's already over. But.
Heel TJP?
Love it.
Yay or nay?
Absolutely love it.
I am also a fan for all the reasons we've said. You're finally showing your personality, TJP. It's never been your in-ring work. Your in-ring work is damn near impeccable.
The dab works as a heel. I just want to say that. It didn't necessarily work with him as a face, but the dab as a heel.
It's that white people dab, right? Oh, snap.
I felt like you were karate chopping.
Right?
I don't know what that was.
I felt you get scared, you got tense. So after the fact...
You're a Ric Flair chop.
After the fact, word to Stevie Boy, we see a pre-taped backstage segment with Corey Graves interviewing the Brian Kendrick. And... Brian Kendrick was actually trying to be really poignant and giving really honest answers, but of course, this is being pro wrestling. Tozawa attacks from behind, and he gives him, what is it, lesson 4 or 5?
I want to say 4. No, it may be 5.
It might have been 5, maybe.
5.
But basically continuing the lessons Tozawa learned from Brian Kendrick, and he's reteaching the teacher now.
Yeah.
So eventually, this is going to have a big blow-off match, right? Between these two guys?
Yeah.
We're hoping for it.
Are you guys interested in this feud? Is this something that's keeping your... What do you think, AJ?
I think it's kind of run its course. Not necessarily in that it's finished, but I feel it's kind of overstayed its welcome, I guess.
Okay, so both guys should move on to something fresh.
Yeah, and I think Tozawa deserves to come out on top.
Okay.
And I'm curious to see where they go after this. I just kind of wish they would kind of get to the next point.
What about... Are you interested in this?
Interested, but on the same page. It's
so
really...
are we all agreeing then that this is kind of long in the tooth? Or?
Well, the thing is, the bad part about it is, it's the reason why it's being long in the tooth because it's the problem with the cruiserweights. They shoving every cruiserweight into 8-man, 6-man tag team matches, and maybe if this feud got its own segment on Raw, along with Neville versus.
But there were Raws when it did have its own segments. There were Raws when it didn't have its own
I don't think Tozawa Brian Kendrick have ever had a segment.
I think the issue is more in the function and the format of the cruiserweight division. There's only one belt. It's not like we have a tag team division.
But they can.
It's not like we have mid card belts.
But they can cook up feuds though without.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. Is that if it's not going after the belt, you're stuck trying to piecemeal feuds together.
So would you guys on the cruiserweights feud with regular stars?
I think that this is my opinion. At me, that the cruiserweight.
What is he?
DUNNELLZ at me. That the cruiserweight division, as they've gone so far, has not worked the way they've planned. And I think that...
They haven't connected with the crowd for whatever reason. That's been the big thing that I've noticed.
I think that it wouldn't shock me if the cruiserweight division, as its own separate entity, as 205 Live...
dissolved?
Oh, yes.
It's dissolved and gets merged probably into SmackDown.
So you're stating the same problem everybody has said. How would you fix it?
Merge it to SmackDown.
No,
really, overall?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, because I was going to actually counter what you were saying with another feud that's going on. It's probably the second biggest feud behind the Neville, Austin Aries. Noam Dar, Rich Swann, and the Alicia Fox triangle.
She's like a mid-card title.
I think that has proven that you can build a feud without the title that's still interesting and that's somewhat compelling. I mean, it's not must-see TV. Like, I'm not dying to see it.
And they're still keeping Cedric Alexander.
It can kind of keeping his name afloat too, but it gives them a plausible reason for them to not like each other. They're vying for the competition of a lady, and it's like in real life. I mean, that happens.
And the joke that Corey made though is kind of the same running joke that I've heard as well, and that Alicia Fox is the mid card title for 205 Live.
I mean,
that's
well,
really
the way
been
the
the
show
only other
ended-
biggest feud that they've had.
the way the show ended is Noam Dar ends up beating Rich Swann, and Alicia Fox ends up coming out after the match, and her and Noam Dar get back together. Basically, is what it looks like. So we'll see what that leads to going in the future, but. This one doesn't feel like it's had a definitive end yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was the end, but we'll see moving on. So we're going to move on to NXT now, the yellow brand, if you will. And it starts with Sandy's music hitting, but just EY, Eric Young, and Killian Dane coming out. Dane after making this impressive run at WrestleMania in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, a.k.a. the Dre. And he crushes basically, I don't want to say it's a job guy, but yeah, kind of a job guy, Danny Burch. But he looks really good in doing it, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So overall impressions of Killian Dane, what do you think?
Love Killian Dane. I loved him when he was in What Culture Pro Wrestling as Big Damo. He had a nice heel run with a face turn at the end. Okay. And I think there's big money in him as a face later.
What about you?
I like him, but not as much as the other guy we've seen recently. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But
Roman Reigns.
Oh, you're talking about the big swole guy from a few weeks ago.
Yes.
See, we may not see him for a while, though, so I think he's a work in progress. But what about you, Chris?
Big Damo, Killian... I don't know. He reminds me. This is gonna.
He's
be
a very hairy
comparison.
individual.
He is. I was gonna say this.
He looks like he steps.
This is so not fair to either person, but I'm gonna say he reminds me in a lot of ways of Kevin Owens in that he is surprisingly athletic and agile
for his size.
For his size.
That's why there's money.
And Killian Dane's actually a big guy, like tall wise too.
Yeah.
So what about you? What do you think?
Looks like a monster.
Into Sanity, not so much Killian Dane.
Well, Dane wins. It's a kind of a squash match, and we're gonna see what's going on with Sanity. Is it gonna be a duo from now on? Is it gonna be a group? Nikki Cross? I don't know. We'll see moving forward. So after that, we see a little vignette for the Velveteen Dream, possibly Patrick Clark, that character we saw him experimenting with. Any ideas on Patrick Clark, Velveteen Dream? I'm gonna let it kind of play out. I like them. They build intrigue. So
I think
that's the follow through.
When done the right way,
it's like a basketball shot. It's all in the follow through.
Yeah,
Patrick has charisma to get over.
Yeah, not all the time.
I think that too. I actually think he'll make the gimmick work. Honestly, if they find the right balance of flamboyance and showmanship, and you guys still get to go in the ring, right?
I see
sign a free
Goldust.
agent out there and reconnect the indie team, and
Well, moving on, speaking of teams and up-and-comers, we had the new team, Heavy Machinery, making noise, and they show up again. Heavy Machinery, man. And they face Ricardo Watts and Hector Koonsman, who I'm not very familiar with, maybe some local guys. And it's a squash match.
Literally.
And figuratively.
Those were some smaller guys. I know Harry really bigger guys.
Tiny guys.
But those guys were small.
They look like kids.
They look like
they
the
really
Singh brothers.
They were tiny fellas.
Yes.
They were really.
Yes.
And okay, well, what'd you think of the finishing move where I think Big Otto's his name?
They squash them.
He picks up both of them like for a power slam, and then the other guy runs and jumps on his back, and they just fall on top of him.
I like the beginning. I just think they should do something else with the end, like him jumping on him.
Splat.
Yeah, it's just.
I think that was just to show off their power. Now they can't do it with
bigger guys.
Rivals, but they can do it with one of the bigger guys.
That's
it's like the style clash.
And it feels low impact in my opinion. Even with the bigger guys,
really,
it feels.
I would have
700 pounds, 800 pounds.
I would have been hurt had that been me.
Like if that's a shoot
on the bottom.
Okay, I mean, I get where you're coming from. But let's move on after the match. They ended up getting on the mic and calling out the authors of Pain and Paul Ellering, the current NXT Tag Champions. I called this a few weeks ago. I said the Heavy Machinery would be food for them. Is that what's basically going to happen? Are they going to be fed to the authors of Pain?
Yes.
Who Heavy Machinery?
Yeah. The undefeated authors of Pain, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they're just building them up just to give authors of Pain a good rivalry.
Because I think AOP.
Well, what about DIY? I mean, they got to get the DIY before they get this.
And I was going to say DIY after this cuts a promo after the match saying that they saw Heavy Machinery call out AOP, but they are still owed their one-on-one rematch. So if this does go down and they get a rematch coming up before the upcoming Takeover Chicago, it's safe to say authors of Pain are gonna go ahead and just finish this little piece of business up, right?
Yep.
Before DIY moves on to the main roster.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yes. How long have they been teasing the DIY breakup? Like, I feel like that's
So they're
been
gonna break up
going-
before they go to the main
I don't
roster?
know.
Or
That's-
like, okay,
I
quick
don't-
question. Do
I'm
they go to
so
the main
not-
roster as a team or as individuals?
See,
They have to go as a team. Money. That's where the
They're
money
not
is.
as interested separate.
I think they have to also, but it looks like they're in the breakup path now.
How
do
do more
you?
than once, but it could also be classic. We're just gonna tease it but never give it to you.
And that's possible.
At least at NXT level, because
Alright.
I could see them going to the main roster and being in the cruiserweights. That's what I
Do
think.
you want to see them separate? Not on the cruiserweight.
Personally, do I? No, they're either if you break them up, put them in the cruiserweights, and
right.
not keep them a tag team,
Yeah,
put them on SmackDown or something. So after that, moving on, we saw Bobby Roode giving a pep talk to the Kona Reeves, the guy that we saw a few weeks ago getting beat by Aleister Black, who just debuted recently. And it leads to the match between Kona Reeves and Hideo Itami. And before Itami could finish his entrance even, Kona Reeves attacks before the match and kind of gives him a good little beating. And the match starts, and Kona tries to keep up the momentum, but he starts showing off, and before you know it, Hideo Itami is back in his face with that fighting spirit, and ends up pretty much...
Another squashish?
I mean, once the tide turns to Hideo Itami, man, I mean, it never really turns back again. And he hits the GTS, which he started using, since his comeback. Yeah. Which, I'm happy to see.
He innovated it, right?
If I'm not mistaken, Kenta Hideo Itami did invent the GTS. So it was nice to see him hit...
See him who?
It was nice to see him hit the move. That's what it was nice to see him. But
Please stay healthy. Please, we love you.
So it's looking like Hideo and Bobby Roode are on a quick clash. Well, before I say that, I guess I should say we found out later in the night that next week it's going to be Roderick Strong and Hideo Itami 1-on-1, and the winner gets Bobby Roode.
It's going to be a nice match.
It really is.
Oh yeah.
Golly.
Who are you picking to win that?
Again, it's going to be a great match.
Because we saw a great vignette, part 2 of Austin Aries.
Roderick Strong.
Roderick Strong. Part 1 introduced him last week. Part 2 kind of goes more in depth. And yeah, Roderick Strong. I think that's what's going to get him over is that vignette.
Yeah.
And then it's going to lead to this match next week. I mean, who are you picking to win that?
Hideo Itami.
Who are you picking to win?
I'm going with Roderick.
Hideo.
Itami.
I also think it's going to be Itami because they've been teasing Hideo Bobby Roode. And I think Roddy can still benefit from kind of having one more program before he gets...
And it continues to build that
he doesn't
underdog.
have...
Yep.
We were talking earlier about a guy not having a clear path.
Yeah.
Maybe this match he loses and then somebody comes out and attacks
Hopefully, because Roderick
maybe
Strong...
he have a feud with Drew Galloway.
Oh, that would be interesting. Cause they've had really good matches on the indies too. Because to me, I'm a big Roderick Strong fan. He's just not conventionally charismatic like The Rock is or something like that. Like, he doesn't spout catchphrases. He's a really good technician, very crisp. And I think taking the route they did by introducing his family and kind of making you feel his vulnerability and like him on an emotional level, I think that's the way he connects. It wouldn't work for everybody. They couldn't do this for everybody. But in his particular case, I think it works.
They did it with Rusev, showing his family.
But I know someone that it wouldn't work with. Roman Reigns.
That would work with Roman.
Next week, Hideo, Roderick Strong, number one contender. Tune in. It's going to be a hard-hitting good match. I can guarantee you that. So the night ends with a battle royal to determine the new number one contendership for the women's championship and the unbeaten Asuka over 160 days, if I'm not mistaken, right? She's been the women's champion and undefeated. So we're going to go ahead and skip straight to the end. The last three people in the battle royal: Nikki Cross of Sanity, the relatively newish Ruby Riott, and the person who everyone thought, at least a lot of people thought, was the chosen one to beat Asuka, Ember Moon. So you have three people left. Any one of these women could win, feasibly, right?
Yeah.
And then Asuka shows up to crash the party, and one of the crazy spots I've seen recently, and that's saying something, she flung Ember Moon out the ring, and it looked like Ember went shoulder first into the barricade.
The rumor is that she's actually like...
Yeah, it looked like she took a nasty bump.
That's the question. Is it a work or is she really hurt or not? We don't really know yet.
And we don't know yet, and because they usually tape these in advance, and afterwards William Regal came out disgusted and basically said, we're going to have a fatal four-way match at NXT TakeOver. And the last time we saw Asuka put in one of these, she overcame the odds of one, but that was not nearly as stacked as this one. So, this character they've been pushing with Asuka is she's become almost cocky to the point of delirium.
Yep.
So is this where she's gonna finally lose? Did she lose without losing? Did she lose the belt without actually getting
That
pinned?
way she still looks strong.
I agree.
And then they can take it to the
I
main
agree.
roster.
I think that's the best way to do it. Yeah.
I don't think they take
But they
it to the
could-
main roster if she loses the belt that way. I still think she's gonna be the first 2-time women NXT champion.
Okay.
I think she drops the belt. I think she gets pinned. She gives that rub to Ember, and then she gets called up. It's been the pattern.
So he said it's Ember. Who's the one that wins the title then and take over if it's not Asuka? He says Ember.
Nikki Cross.
I like Nikki Cross.
That's where I'm leading to. And I think the real NXT money is with Nikki Cross as women's champion and Eric Young as NXT champion.
Ooh, we haven't seen that yet.
I think that's where that's. I think that.
So what do you think, K-Pad?
I think me personally, I feel like Asuka's gonna win this match, but
It could be
the next person that's gonna win the title will probably be Nikki Cross.
Okay, so we're all in on
So
Nikki
you're
Cross.
all off the Ember Moon train.
I like Ember
The
Moon.
way she got handled.
I like Ember Moon. I think she's potentially a star, but Nikki Cross is like.
Let me tell you
Yeah,
who
When
I'm.
she's on screen, my eyes are watching. her.
Yeah.
I love
Let
Nikki
me
Cross.
tell you who I am high on. First off, I want to commend the NXT roster for having all those women in that match. I didn't know they had that many women.
Right.
I know
Yeah.
some of them were supplemental talents and whatnot, but they all went in there, did their thing. But
Yeah.
shout out to Liv Morgan,
Love Liv
Peyton
Morgan.
Royce, Billy Kay,
Iconic.
and Peyton Royce. If y'all have not watched that battle royal, that was a good battle royal.
I think
And
they have good
that was
chemistry.
Yes,
They've really
those two
developed
together,
as a team.
I could see.
They do stuff flawlessly.
Like, I
or
can see
seamlessly.
those two. If there hasn't been a women's tag team title, I can see those two being tag team champions as
Yeah.
women. If you know what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do
So-
you think they're gonna build a women's tag team title?
I mean, they're bringing in 32
I was
other
about to say
women.
with the women's tournament.
I
yeah.
can see it at least in NXT.
Yeah, at least in NXT.
At least in NXT. So with that being said, I think we had a good discussion. Join us next week. We're going to talk about the fallout from NXT and 205 Live and who is the new #1 contender for the NXT Championship. But join us next. We're going to dive into the Blue Brand SmackDown Live. All right?
At Champions Here Show.
At Champions Here Show.
At Champions Here Show.
Strongest brand in the line.
The champ is here!
And we're back to the Champions Here Show. We're going to talk about the Blue Brand SmackDown Live. And SmackDown Live started with... Hold on. It started with the photo shoot, of course. I can't believe I almost forgot. Jinder Mahal, who looked like the WWE champion in that fly baby
Yes, he
blue
did.
powder suit with the white shirt. And I think he even had the turban in that match, too, right?
Yep.
Wasn't it like blue, too, or white? It was pretty fly. Taking pictures in a photo shoot, a professional photo shoot with the WWE Championship that is not yet officially his. So in the interim, while he's taking photos, little did he notice the general manager, or was it what are they calling him now? Or is it
Commissioner? No.
Commissioner. That's why I was getting confused. I don't like the way they do the naming right now. But anyway, Shane McMahon, the authority figure, shows up, and he basically tells Jinder, "You didn't earn this. This isn't yours," and he's gonna give it back to Randy Orton. If you ask me, kind of a cop out. I was
Yeah.
kind of hoping Jinder would get to do
Yeah.
more with the belt,
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess it's how they get it back to Randy, right?
Right.
So what do you guys think?
In my opinion, that made Randy look weak, but
Yep.
it made Shane look strong as an authority figure.
I agree.
But
I agree.
To me, I just, like I said earlier, man, if you're a man
Mm-hmm.
and that got stolen from you in that manner,
And then
Go
they
after
cost,
your
and then,
belt.
and then they
Yeah.
cost you your match
Yes.
against one of your arch rivals.
yeah, it's like, come on, dude, you gotta man up. Then I don't think he even got the belt later on that night, right?
No, I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Was Randy even on the show?
I don't remember
I don't think
Randy
Randy was even
on
on
the
the
show. I
show.
don't think he was.
They might have been selling the fact that he's still stuck in the purgatory of
Right.
the House of Horrors and
Right.
whatnot.
Hope
I mean,
not.
what do you think of the Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, Shane McMahon taking the belt back thing?
What do you mean when I think about it? Like, did
I mean, would you? Did
if
you,
I was Randy Orton, would I
was-
be upset kind of thing?
or was that the way you would have approached it, or you expected them to do that? Because I thought Jinder would have a longer.
If
run
I'm
having the
Shane,
belt.
I think that's what I would do. If I'm Randy, I don't know why Randy wasn't there. I'm not sure if this was an attempt to...
I think it's selling the brutality of the House of Horrors. If you ask
because
me,
it was very brutal. Very brutal.
very brutal, very much so. I'm glad he said that. So Shane McMahon went on to tell Jinder Mahal that you have a match tonight with Sami Zayn, which I think was interesting. Because Sami Zayn was actually the guy that I think did he pin Sami? I think that night.
I think that was the guy he pinned.
Because Sammy went for the haluva kick and then
but then the Singh brothers showed up.
Yeah,
so I think that might have been the guy Jinder pinned. I don't remember all the way, but I think so.
I don't think so.
Because I thought because he hit his finish on somebody. We'll have to look into that. So when the live show starts, Shane McMahon comes to the ring and he introduces us to the new United States champion, who I didn't expect to see. I thought he was going to lose at Payback, Chris Jericho, but they basically end up talking about, we're happy to see you, but you have your rematch against Kevin Owens tonight. And before they could reach the end, AJ Styles came out and was kind of like, hey, I'm still here. I'm the number one contender for whoever wins between you guys. Don't forget about me. Kevin Owens interrupts the interrupter and basically is like, you don't have to worry about Y2J. I'm going to take the title back, which leads to AJ attacking Kevin Owens on the ramp and just kind of...
Yeah, I think you finally got to see that electric collar that these wrestlers have when they're talking trash to each other from that far, taking off. AJ went down.
Yeah, and the way, if I remember right, he literally, I think, calmly walked up to him.
Yeah,
It wasn't like the usual, I'm going to beat you up, overacting, like running. Like, he calmly walked up to him and punched him.
Yeah.
Which is like...
You never see that.
Yeah, it's like,
it
almost caught me. I don't know how to take
refreshing.
it almost. Yeah, it was like, did I see that correctly? It's like, hey, you say that again, I'm going to smack your face. And he just literally walked up there and then smacked him.
I smack you?
Right.
Smack you. South Park.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Anyway, apparently I'm not cool. But anyway, so after that, it shows Jinder Mahal walking backstage with the Singh brothers, who, I don't know about you guys, but I actually like the fact that they're starting to build a clique or a stable, if you will, around Jinder Mahal. Is it going to stay a 3-man stable, or are they adding somebody?
I think it should stay.
Stay three. Stay 3.
Okay.
You think they're adding someone, Kevin?
Who? I think it's possible. I don't know who, but I think it's possible.
Roman Reigns.
Who? Very, very possible. So that leads to Sami Zayn versus Jinder Mahal. And again, the Singh brothers get involved, and Jinder gets the win. So it looks like they're committing to building Jinder to make him look like a credible threat to Randy Orton. And I hope it's indicative of the fact that they are going to probably give him a run with the belt. So we kind of touched on it earlier. As it is right now, yes or no? Just give me a quick answer. Do you think Jinder has a chance?
Yes.
As it is right now. Yes.
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 He has a chance, sure.
Yes.
Like a realistic chance.
Yeah.
Not just a fringe. Maybe they could do it.
Yeah, he has a chance.
Okay. Do you see this gimmick, this heel turn, gaining steam?
For who?
For Jinder.
No, Roman Reigns.
Yes. I just don't. I'm not sure. I think they're going to wait and see how it goes. I don't think they are committed to him. Absolutely.
I'm saying you right now, though. How do you feel about it? Are you intrigued? Like, genuinely, do you think this is something that can work?
Would you put that big gold belt on it?
I would.
The thing that makes me so upset with it is how they booked him up to this point.
Meaning,
he's just all of a sudden in the main event picture.
I mean, not all of a sudden he won a match. He won a match
match after being jobbed out with Rusev for months before that.
If we're going to look at it in the context of the storyline, the stipulations were if you win this match,
anybody could win the Royal
Exactly.
Rumble.
You win this one match, you get a title.
Yes, but Mojo Rawley's not going to win the Royal Rumble to the main event WrestleMania.
But he won the Andre the Giant.
That's when I saw Jinder come to hit his
he's
own.
showing it to Dre. I mean, he's lost more than he's won recently, but he won the match.
So how is that
Because he's come from
Because he was in a
He's
match.
the underdog.
Well, he was in a match that gave him an opportunity. He won that, and then he's won basically.
You know who he is right now? To make an analogy, he's Shell Sonnen. He comes up out of nowhere, and nobody really likes him. He's an underdog, but let's see, give him a chance. He might put on a good match.
We'll see.
In a sense, he's like that, but I still think he won the right to win.
No, he definitely did.
Chael Sonnen talked himself into that.
Yeah,
fight.
he did.
So I mean, it's one of them things where I think so far I think he's proven that he's doing all the right things at the right times to make the transition to be a credible main eventer.
He has not proven why he couldn't yet. I'll say that.
Okay.
So we're your glass half empty, I'm glass half full right now. That's how we're looking at it. Okay.
But full Roman Reigns.
Full
Ice
Roman
Cube.
Reigns.
Ice Cube.
So moving on backstage, we see Becky Lynch, and she's talking with the welcoming committee, who is, as she says, her 4 favorite females. Is it Carmella, Tamina, Natty, and James Ellsworth?
And James Ellsworth.
James Ellsworth.
James Ellsworth.
Can Becky just go ahead and have a match with James Ellsworth, please?
Yeah,
Beat him, and then write him off of television
Yes.
forever.
You can't.
James Ellsworth has a contract.
Yeah, he's their mascot.
James.
He's been
I'm
the
sick of
mascot in
this.
everything. I'm so sick of James
He was
Ellsworth.
given a job.
I get that.
So basically,
You
what ends
can
up
lose
happening
jobs.
is the welcoming committee says, Becky, I can't believe you're even humoring Charlotte. We're trying to look out for us and you and the women that have already been here and that helped build this brand. And Charlotte shows up and just gets everything given to her. So it gives Becky food for thought, something to think about. And we're going to see her later on in the night, foreshadowing, right? So then we've seen these vignettes with Shinsuke Nakamura airing throughout for about, say, the last week or so, hyping Backlash and basically indicating that his in-ring debut will be on Backlash. So is that a good move to save Nakamura for the pay-per-view? Does that make him feel more like a big deal, or is that excluding people that are interested but don't really have anything invested in Nakamura?
I think it is.
What do you think?
I think they're for the people who already know who he is. They're just saving it to let the other people know, like, this is how big he is.
But we have people that don't know who Nakamura is that are casual fans that would probably benefit from seeing a taste of what they could expect in a regular TV match. It might make them more inclined to watch Backlash.
I think this is WWE learning from their mistakes from what they did with Finn Balor.
Okay.
They call up Finn Balor,
Right.
and they hype up the Demon King.
Right.
And you think, okay, well, the first time we're going to see the Demon King then is at pay-per-view.
Right.
And he brings it out in a promo with Seth Rollins.
Right.
And I think WWE realized that they wasted that.
Yep.
That it was better to save that to just continue to build up the momentum
Right.
and then put it on the pay-per-view. I think they learned from that.
Because
And
you
that's
get
what
one
they're
time to
doing.
make a first impression.
And I think that's what they're doing with Nakamura.
And is that smart, do you think?
I
That's the way to go?
think it is at least showing a willingness to say, well, maybe this wasn't the right choice we made before.
Okay.
Let's see if this is something better.
Okay. Because my big fear has always been Nakamura's English promo. So you're relying on him speaking and Dolph Ziggler speaking to sell the match. That's kind of what makes me a little worried. Is to a casual fan, like, I've had Stevie Boy Smith said that someone he knows saw Nakamura come out and was like, who's this crazy looking Japanese guy? Like you don't really, if you don't get what's going on, it might be something that's almost unappealing to you.
To be honest, like the recent promo they had where Dolph was making fun of him, talking about how he's a ripped off of Michael Jackson. The most interesting part of that to me was when Nakamura started talking and disgraced him in Japanese.
Called him a jackass, if I remember correctly.
I think that you don't have to cut a promo if you do it right. Goldberg in WCW didn't talk.
Very rarely.
Didn't talk. For the
He was
entirety
still hugely
of
over,
his
yeah.
streak for the most part.
He had an aura about him, yep.
You can build Nakamura the
So
same way.
so you're saying that can be replicated, that kind of aura, that because Goldberg had
You have to commit. You can't just be
yeah.
on the fence about it. But if you just make his character be what he's doing in the ring,
right.
he doesn't have to talk.
I
At
agree.
least right now.
Okay, so real quick before we move on, then yes or no answer: is Shinsuke Nakamura a future WWE World Champion and or Universal Champion?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to say no right now, guys. Until it's proven otherwise. As of right now, I think he's a main eventer. He's a potential top guy, but I don't see them going all in and giving him the belt.
The only reason I say yes, I just want to put this out there. He is on the Backlash poster. He is the Backlash poster.
Okay, we've
He's all Backlash.
We've seen that with R-Truth and other people
Rusev
before.
came out to WrestleMania with
In a tank.
He was so
In
loud about
a
it.
tank.
He rolled up in a tank.
Fair enough.
Word to ASAP Rocky. But
And Rusev's not done yet.
so then so we'll see with Shinsuke Nakamura. Backlash, I think Nakamura's gonna have a good showing. Dolph Ziggler's gonna give him a good match. Might be match of the night. So we look forward to it. So after that, we see the performer Aiden English in the ring. And I think doesn't he start doing the singing thing?
Yes.
The WWE thing? And first of all, what do you guys like? Do you guys like that?
Yes, I do.
Is
If they let him do
I can
something.
take it or
is he
leave it.
destined
Yes,
to
that's
be a
what
job
I'm-
guy?
Yes.
Is that Aiden? Yeah.
An enhancement of talent, yes.
Absolutely.
No.
Do you think one day he'll kind of break out and get a little run, mid-card run maybe?
I
Yeah, I
think
could
he
see
should.
putting him into the cruiserweight division.
He's too big.
He's
No.
like 6'10".
No, I still think he can do flippy stuff.
Okay, so
Wow.
moving on.
Ever
So-
since
I
they
want to
took-
see him as a manager.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
For who?
That would possibly.
It doesn't
be
matter.
Or if he gets a stable of his own,
Yeah.
some people that will follow him, and he's the leader. That might be interesting.
How old is he
The
right
artiste.
now? How old is he?
Tyler
I don't know,
Bates
maybe
and
like
Gallagher.
early
He
30s,
looks
maybe.
like them.
Late 20s, early 30s.
I thought he was.
probably.
I thought he was early 20s.
No, he's not that young. I don't think he is.
Was he? Okay.
I mean, we can look at. We have computers in our pockets.
I can look it up really quick
We
if
can
you
all
like.
look it up. But so yeah, so this leads to another NXT original, Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10, interrupting, and basically it's like an NXT match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do it for the camera. Don't do it for me. But Ty
Steve
Dillinger
Boy
comes
Smith.
out and he wins with the tiebreaker.
In English is 29.
We don't know how you guys feel. Are you high on the Ty Dillinger Perfect 10?
Am I high on the tie? No.
Don't get high on your own tie, man.
Yeah, never. Word just for life. No, I don't think so. I think he's probably going to be destined to be a jobber.
I do too, but the Stevie Boy swears that he thinks
That's
he's going
what
to
I
be
said,
like an
yeah.
upper mid card guy.
Shout out
or
to
main
Stevie
event.
Boy.
I love Ty. I mean,
So
you guys
you-
remember in the video game, I was always picking Ty Dillinger.
So do you think Ty Dillinger has potential to be?
That's 'cause he won with
what's
Ty
what's his
Dillinger.
ceiling? What's his best case scenario? Upper mid card, main event.
upper mid card best case scenario. I don't think
Okay.
I don't think he's going to get there, but I think
I
he's
don't think
got.
it's sustainable. I think he's just a gimmick.
I think he's got, but I think that enough people are behind that gimmick. Just like with
That-
Ryback,
yeah.
people were behind the Ryback gimmick.
And you see how
though
far
they
he
weren't
got.
sure. But
He
he still got.
he
still
could have got
got
even harder if
he
he
still
would
got-
have
he's-
stopped. If he would have
Potential
no,
main eventer.
he put himself
He
in that position.
and he was in the solid. He was solid mid Carter for a bit. So I think that's where that's where Ty
I think
eventually
Ty
reaches and
is
then
going
falls
to
back
be,
down.
unfortunately, in the Fandango
Yeah.
kind of where, where
Yeah.
he's going to be
Lots of
in
hype
the
coming
mid-
in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of hype. Then just mid card, maybe even turn comedy act.
So who do you see higher, Aiden English or Ty?
Ty
Good
Dillinger.
question.
Ty
Aiden
Dillinger.
English.
In the long run, Aiden English.
In the
Aiden
long
English.
run, I'm going to stick with Aiden still. I don't think Aiden necessarily has to be a jobber.
He also has,
I'm
Stevie
still
Boy.
saying Ty
he has,
Dillinger.
some,
English.
he has a family member that's in the Hall of Fame, or sort of family member.
I mean, his father-in-law is the great Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
So
And his brother is Roman Reigns.
I don't think that's true.
So anyway, after the fact,
Everyone's related to Roman.
after we come back from
Everyone's
commercial,
related
and
to
Chris Jericho is cutting a promo backstage before his U.S. title rematch, and then we see the artist enter the picture. And at first, Jericho is kind of trying to cheer him up, but then I forgot exactly what Aiden English does. But Jericho puts him on the list, and that kind of pushes Aiden English over the edge, and we see a grown man cry. So after that, we get to see Charlotte cutting a backstage interview, and she's attacked by the welcoming committee, which is interesting because the next match is supposed to be a Charlotte Naomi tag match versus Carmella and Natty. So we go down to the ring. The welcome committee's there. Naomi shows up, but there's no Charlotte. So it has to be a handicap match.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed it was interesting. It looked like we saw a more aggressive Naomi.
Yes,
A
in
more-
the
a more
beginning.
vicious,
Yes.
stiff striking, stiff kicks. Her and Carmella were really
Trading.
trading. It was very interesting. And, of course, it's being pro wrestling. Charlotte ends up showing up. And the faces win by DQ, but it's kind of because the welcoming committee decides enough is enough, and they just kind of want to assert their dominance. So afterwards, Becky shows up and kind of teases the heel turn, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I kind of was kind of going back and forth thinking, will she, won't she?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't convinced?
No, I was telling myself in my head. I was thinking if Becky joins the welcoming committee, then it's 4-2. That women's division is not very deep. It's only 6 people.
That's true.
So
but
if
they
she
can always unveil someone new, though.
Yeah, but you would have had to unveil 2 to make it even 8-on-8, to make it even 4-on-4. If Becky joined them, it would have been uneven, and you would have to call up 2 people.
Or maybe call up one and have you have someone in the cut that you haven't shown recently. I mean, we're not. I mean,
I wasn't convinced.
You weren't convinced?
personally.
I
Yeah.
kind of was. What about you? Anyone else think Becky may have turned or no?
I thought for a
At-
second
at-
she was going to
At
turn.
I
first,
thought
yeah.
she might, but
At
at
first.
the
So
same
it was a
time,
it was compelling enough that you watched.
Yeah.
Right?
It's still
Yes.
compelling. Yeah.
Had she, I think they kind of, when she came out walking, I think it was obvious that she was still going to be a face. Now, had she came out running, you would have been under the assumption that, oh man, she's finna go in there
And
act
try
like
to
she's a
save him.
face,
I
but
could-
then
yeah.
turn heel. I think
See,
that's
I-
what
that
they
might
should
have-
have
that
done.
might
I
have
thought
Have her
the
come out
opposite,
running.
honestly. I thought the opposite. I thought her coming out because I don't know. She came out. Well, it was her demeanor when she came out
Right.
walking. And she kind of seemed like she was kind of over it all. So I don't know. But in the end, they end up deciding to keep Becky Lynch on the good side, and basically she stands up for herself and gets kind of pummeled back down. I mean, the Welcome Committee ends up looking strongest at the end of this, where they're standing tall. And is this leading to 6-woman tag at Backlash? Is that what this is going to be?
I hope not.
Or is this going to be some
Dude,
kind
I
of
seriously hope not.
Yes, but I
fatal
hope
4-way
not.
6-women?
Yes.
I want to
title
see
match?
one-on-one Naomi versus Charlotte.
That. Yeah, I would actually like to see that.
And
too.
the welcoming
No
committee
shenanigans.
and the welcoming committee.
Banned from ringside.
No. I was gonna say they interfere in that match.
Oh well.
Well, I don't want to see.
I don't want to see that, but I could see that. I think that would be a nice way to tie in the welcoming committee into this storyline
Well, they're
and
already
still
tied
keep.
in.
Yeah.
But bring them to
yeah.
prominence, I suppose.
Right.
Put them in the title picture by have them interfere in that.
Well, they're
match.
kind of feuding with Becky Lynch now.
I think
We'll
it's
see.
going to
I
be a
think it'll
full
be
roster.
six-
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
going
going
to
to
be.
be a 6.
It's gonna be 6-woman tag, and at Backlash, the future direction will become clearer.
Correct.
We'll see what's going on. So from there, we see a little quick match with Dolph Ziggler, Sin Cara. It was short, but it was kind of
Sin
physical.
Cara's still alive still, too.
And he was wearing a
A
brand new
new
fit.
fit.
It looked like it was inspired by Rey Mysterio at Halloween Havoc '97 with the full body suit. And
Phantom.
but it was with the sleeves and the airbrushing, and it was very 1990s.
I was not feeling that suit.
Yeah.
Nope.
It was very loud.
It showed
It
off
was
a lot of
very
him.
loud.
It looks like he has not been skipping catering. I'll say it like that. But it was a very physical match. Dolph Ziggler wins, and just pretty much cooking up Dolph Ziggler, heating him up for the clash with Shinsuke Nakamura Backlash. So, nothing crazy to see.
And now you're reading to AJ's favorite segment of the night.
Oh
Hey,
yes.
I want to get your opinion on this.
Oh.
Fashion Files episode
Yes.
1. Go ahead, AJ.
Oh.
Get the fans up to date. What happened in Fashion
okay,
Files?
so in the Fashion Files, we cut back. It starts off as like
Give
a
us a
Law and
brief-
Order.
hit the high
Okay,
points.
yeah, sorry. So we cut to the Fashion Police in the police district and in the police precinct, and they're hyping up their match with the Usos. They're typing on the typewriter.
Tyler Breeze,
Yeah, Tyler Breeze is on the typewriter, going very slow.
Deputy Doggo.
Deputy does the chief's up. Oh, sorry about the paperwork. Chief's on me about the paperwork.
You're really doing a great job
And
getting
they,
high points.
Yeah.
Well, they get them for the they talk about all the crimes that the Usos, the Uggos as they call them, the Uggos have done.
It's jaywalking.
Jaywalking and Jimmy walking was
And
the
Jimmy
best
walking.
line of the entire show.
And essentially, they say that the bus is going to go down at Backlash.
Yeah.
Inferring they're talking about their tag team match. So it was entertaining, I thought, right? Do we all agree it was entertaining?
Yes.
It was something different. It was unexpected.
Yes.
So
Loved
here's
it.
my question, because we have to move on real quick. Who is leaving Backlash with the championships? Corner?
Usos.
Chris.
Usos.
The Usos.
Usos.
Was there really another option?
I think depending, we'll see what the Fashion Police does.
I would love for
We'll
that.
see.
If they're as
He didn't
over as
answer
they
it.
are for him.
Yeah, if he's any indication, we'll
Look,
see.
I do not like him, but I found myself laughing.
But we see
Oh, that segment was hilarious.
So moving from a relatively high point, I'm sorry we have to move on. We have to touch the main event now. Kevin Owens defeated Chris Jericho, and after the match, pretty much laid waste to Chris Jericho, and looks like kind of wrote him off TV for the next foreseeable future. Kept coming back, right? Kept coming back and kept beating him up some more. And what I heard was an homage to Jake the Snake and I think Ricky Steamboat.
The DDT.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
he powerbombed him on the floor instead of on the apron. And it's kind of an homage to the DDT on the floor, which wrote off Ricky Steamboat off TV for a few months. So Kevin Owens is your new U.S. champion, which sets up a kind of a dream match. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens at Backlash.
Yeah.
And you can kind of almost argue that for both brands right now, the secondary titles are like front and center.
Yeah.
Right? So, real quick, before we have to end this segment, who was your champ of the night for SmackDown? We'll start with you, AJ. You can say Fashion Police.
Fashion Police, absolutely.
Fashion Police.
Fashion
What about you?
Police, champs
Gender.
of the night.
Gender?
Gender.
Don't hinder gender. What about you, Chris?
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. A good pick. What
With
about
a
you,
smile
Big Ben?
on
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch. And I, personally, you know what? Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal, I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with him. And they're heating him up. So we'll see. So join us next segment. We're going to wrap everything up. We're going to touch on what we may have missed. And we're going to get to our match of the week. So please stick around at ChampIsHereShow.
At ChampIsHereShow.
At ChampIsHereShow.
The champ is here!
And we're back to the Champ is Here podcast. This is our last segment of the night. We got to go ahead and wrap up and hit what we missed. It's a lot going on. Sometimes stuff gets overlooked and slips through the cracks. So, between segments,
my brother KP over here brought up something that was interesting to him that we forgot. What was that, sir?
The Titus brand got to face Heath Slater and Rhino. It was a one-on-one match. Apollo Crews versus Heath Slater. It started off though. I guess Apollo Crews has a baby on the way.
Right, asking father advice. Because we all know Heath Slater got them kids.
I did not know that. But he has like
he's got seven
kids. I was like, golly, he sounds like my father. But to be all serious, Titus came in during that segment and was like, yo, so you just going to turn down the celebrity dad of the year? I wish my father was Titus, as long as you don't kiss me in the mouth or nothing. But anyway,
you get advice from me.
He was like, you get advice from me now, not the enemy. You got to match with this guy. Mm-hmm. And they have a match. Apollo Crews does what he does best, beat him, and then at the end of the match, they take another selfie.
Yeah, and a Rhino photobomb.
Yeah,
so
Rhino photobomb.
Okay, so
it's kind of awkward.
I'm gonna get back to you, K-Pad. Are you guys intrigued in seeing this potential Titus Apollo Crews aligning and going forward? What do you think? Are you yes or no?
I think it's a good direction for him. Yeah.
What about you?
It's going somewhere.
What about you?
No, Apollo deserves better.
Wow, Apollo deserves better.
Yeah.
Is this leading to the heel? Because I think this is leading to a heel turn for Apollo.
It doesn't have to be a straight heel turn. It could just be cocky tweener, but he needs something.
And you don't think this is it, though?
Do you think he's showing enough character already? I think he's showing more character now.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think
in his last few weeks.
I don't think he's been allowed to.
I think that's true, too. They probably thought his athleticism would get him over.
Right.
And for whatever reason, he's not connecting with the fans.
Yeah.
I don't know why, too, because he has a nice smile.
Shout out to Bobby Lashley.
That's what I was just thinking. Bobby Lashley.
He does interesting moves, but to me, Lashley is a more
totally different
physical.
workers.
Yeah, they are.
He's a more imposing looking guy. Lashley is the monster looking.
Lashley's like 6'4", 6'6".
Yep.
Apollo Crews is barely 6 feet.
And he works a stronger style too.
Yeah.
Apollo Crews is more of a cruiserweight guy.
But I mean, probably in his comment, they're like
his work style too.
Yeah. They were more going for their athleticism more than themselves.
We'll do this then for Apollo Crews. Then we did this for other guys. What is Apollo Crews' ceiling? What do you think, Corey? What is like best case scenario? What's the highest peak he can reach?
Headline WrestleMania.
So you're thinking he can be the guy?
He could be that guy.
As a good guy or a bad guy?
Both, either.
Really?
Yeah. Preferably heel.
Don't tell me.
Preferably heel. He could be that cocky Cam Newton-esque on the run to the Superman.
Okay.
Well, you're comparing him to BobbyLashley. I mean, come on.
As a Panthers fan.
So Corey says you can be main eventing a WrestleMania. What do you think, Chris?
I think he could main event WrestleMania.
Really?
I think he could be The Rock.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I think he could be.
What have you seen that?
I don't necessarily mean with the charisma
that.
or the promos necessarily.
But even that level of popularity.
Attitude. I just mean that cocky, just athleticism, showboatingness in the ring is what he could do. That just manhandle someone, make it look easy, and be cocky and arrogant when you're doing it. That can be his character. And if you push that and get behind that, and don't 50-50 book him the rest of the way, because that will be entirely dependent on how he gets booked. You can't build cocky if he's losing half of his matches.
But best case scenario.
Best case scenario. Correct. He has his ceiling is the world.
What about you? What do you think, AJ?
I think he's got the talent for it, but I think best case scenario lower mid card.
Lower mid card.
Lower.
So does he ever like an Intercontinental champion?
So where he's at right now?
Yeah, it's his ceiling.
Wow. Which is a shame because I love him. I think he's got great. I think he's got amazing talent. I love him so much.
So what's holding him back then in your eyes? What is stopping him from?
I think it's upper management doesn't like him for some reason. I think it's something backstage. I'm not sure because I love his talent. I think he's very talented, but I just don't see him going far.
I agree with that, but I was just saying for me personally, if he's used in a best case scenario,
best case scenario.
That's what his.
I think okay. I mean, best case scenario, I could see upper mid card. I could see IC title.
What about you?
I see headlining WrestleMania.
Really?
I think he may have to. They may have to Bobby Lashley-esque do stuff with maybe get him away from everybody, maybe into a place where
a future president.
Yeah, maybe a place where
he needs to leave, get over somewhere else, then come back.
Yes, maybe where he's
So does
on
he
the
need
top,
to go back down to NXT?
Maybe they should have kept him there.
I agree with that.
He was called up
as of
soon.
right now. I agree with that. I said that from the
was.
jump. I think as of right now, his ceiling is mid card, upper mid card, but I think also if this heel turn goes well, we'll see. I'm just going off what I've seen in his ability. Upper mid card, I think is fair. Intercontinental champion, but if he can turn heel and he can really find his stride and his swag,
Yeah, I mean, we'll see then. So, moving on, I think you mentioned also something that we missed.
Yeah, we did not. We mentioned the promo about
Right.
with
but we didn't get to the match.
Yeah, we didn't get
That's
to the
my
match
fault.
between Austin Aries and T.J. Perkins.
Right.
Sorry, TJP. And I actually don't remember who won though.
Austin Aries.
Austin Aries. Okay, I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
And after the match, TJP chop blocked him, I think, and beat up his leg.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Kind of beat up his knee some, and then put him in a knee bar.
Yeah, that's right.
Further setting up the Neville Austin Aries, the third match, which is probably going to come on Raw, right? I'm guessing because the next pay per view is a month and a half away.
Yeah. I feel like if they do now what they should have done originally with Austin Aries, what I think they should have done is after he beat him at WrestleMania,
right,
push Aries back to the bottom of the line. Say,
really?
Get back in line. I beat you already. I don't need to beat you again, and have him fight his way back.
I've
up
heard
to a
somebody
title.
say that Austin Aries can be the guy that helps get the cruiserweights over and connected with the audience. Do you think that's the case? Is Austin Aries that over with the crowd? Yes.
I think he could have been. I think if they would have
too late now. They missed that.
I believe so. I think they did.
So even if he does win on a Raw, that doesn't pop the crowd?
I don't think so.
What about you? What do you think? Is Austin Aries, could he be the guy to connect the crowd to the next
I think
level?
he is, and this story...
I think Heel Neville's on fire.
Heel Neville is on fire. Of
Heel Neville's on fire, right?
Heel
What do you
Neville's
guys think?
the best thing in the
Yes.
cruiserweight division.
Yes, he is.
So would you prefer Austin Aries or Neville going forward as champion?
I think either one.
Yeah.
Works.
So you don't have a choice. Either way works.
I prefer.
Yeah, either
What
one.
about you?
Keep the belt on Neville forever and ever and ever.
No
'Cause
one's on
nobody's on
Neville
the
level.
Never know Neville, right?
Yeah.
Never know Neville. But okay, cool. So I think that's anything else that we need to touch on that we have missed, or we pretty much have. Or I'm pretty sure one of you guys watching will let us know if we missed something. But moving on, we're gonna go ahead and get to the match of the night segment. Last week, Corey Pageant here had the match of the night. Go ahead and remind us what it was.
WrestleMania 6, Hogan versus Warrior.
Champion versus champion, babyface versus
Intercontinental versus,
babyface.
yes.
Winner takes all. And I'll go ahead and go first if you don't mind, because I actually have fond memories of this as a child. I watched this as a young child. I was a young Hulkamaniac that said my prayers, ate my vitamins, and I didn't
Trained hard.
Not really. Guzzling them Gatorades. But my dad was an Ultimate Warrior
Same
fan,
case back
and he
then.
trolled me. And of course, being a little kid, Hogan lost, and it crushed me. And I almost cried. I was hurt. I did not like the Ultimate Warrior at the time. So going back to rewatching was cool. Blast from the past. Really big. There's a bigness to the match. Warrior has the cool face paint on his chest and stuff. And Hogan loses clean, one of the very few times you'll see that in his main event Golden Era WWE run. The in-ring work isn't as crisp as you'd like it to be, but considering who's in there, they did the best they could. Hogan pulled out one of Warrior's longer matches. And out of 10, I'd probably, just for sentimental reasons, probably give it a 6. Joseph, what'd you think?
Probably say 6. I was looking at it. I could see like what y'all saw in it. It wasn't as good as the other ones. Like,
but you got to realize in the context.
These
of
guys-
that
well,
era,
yeah. I
that era
the
was
biggest
in.
the
Two
biggest
superheroes.
yeah I was about to
Going.
say the biggest thing I saw was it was like two faces going at it.
Yeah, because this is
And
like
champion versus champion.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It just didn't get me like say like Orton versus
the work rate wasn't there.
Yeah.
So what do you think, AJ?
I agree. I agree with a lot of what Sloan said. I think it was a good match. I think it was solid.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who that is either. Sorry. But I thought it was a solid match. I'd never seen it before, and I enjoyed it for what it was. I'd give it about a 6 as well.
Okay, Chris, do you have any comments on last week's match of the night?
I grew up in the South, obviously, so
Right.
I was a Ted
Here this
Turner.
goes
Yeah,
again.
I was a Ted Turner boy.
WCW.
So I watched WCW.
Right.
So I did not watch any WWF matches. So by the time I watched this, it was in the past. I wasn't viewing it
Right.
in real time.
Right.
And because of the way that wrestling is as we know it now,
It's a lot more athletic.
going back and watching something
Thank you,
then,
Jesus.
it's hard to appreciate what it was in that time because I didn't watch it in that time.
I agree.
Does that make sense? So the issue for me is I get that you guys are getting it a 6, and if 1 is terrible and 10 is the
Perfect.
best match in the world,
5's average.
then to me it would be a below average match.
Okay, fair enough.
Only because
Put a number on it. Put some respect on it. What do you think?
I'd say a 4. If 5 is average, then I'd have to put it right under 5. Just because
I almost put it at 5, but I bopped it up the nostalgia factor.
If I had that same nostalgia to me personally in that match, then I think I would subliminally just in my mind put it above without realizing it. But for me, because I can only watch it outside of the context,
because it's not Ric Flair and Sting, you're not going to give it that high of a rating. We get
it. basically.
So go ahead. What do you think, hey Pat?
It's a 7.
Pick. It was a 7.
Yeah, it was a 7. It was a solid match. I mean, considering the guys that were in the ring, Hogan's not that technical a wrestler. Warrior's not that technical. Even less than Hogan, but that charisma that was flowing.
Yep. 2 big, large-than-life personalities.
To be fair, you didn't watch the match with audio, so you couldn't enjoy the commentary and the energy from the crowd that was going on.
Yeah.
That match, even now, still gives me goosebumps. It wasn't, I mean, for the technical reasons of the match, I can't give it a 10. It wasn't a 10, but
so is that
even
why
at the end.
So is that why you picked it?
Yeah, the energy of the match makes the match. I mean, you watch wrestling to be entertained. That match to me was entertaining. It told a story, passing of the torch. I wish it could have had a better long-term ending than it did, but we're talking about that match in a vacuum. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, at the time, especially at a time where Hogan never lost, I mean, it's a pretty cool little moment in time. And now, unfortunately, Ultimate Warrior's passed on. So, 2 Hall of Famers going at it. First time, face versus face. And I think the last time in WrestleMania, that good guy versus good guy match ended the show. So,
what about John Cena and Shawn Michaels? Was that the main event that year?
I don't think it was. Very good match, though.
Very good match.
Did Cena Bryan headline Mania?
Nope, that was a SummerSlam. Also, very good match though. Very good match.
Rock Cena.
There you go.
Okay.
Cena was the crowd crowd distinguished heel, or was the crowd chosen heel?
That's
for that
probably
match,
the closest thing that we've seen though.
When you do over 500 Make-A-Wishes, there's no heel in.
I'm saying that he's the crowd chosen heel.
But before we get into some matches to get off topic, we're gonna let our guest Chris go ahead and pick the match of the night. So go ahead, let us know what tonight's match of the night is gonna be. And we're all going to watch it with bated breath.
So, should I just say what the match is and then the why, or the why first?
It's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you, man. However you want to do it, man.
So, the match I'm going to go with is not a Roman Reigns or an Alexa Bliss match. I had to look up because I want to find the exact date. Okay. Because it's not a pay-per-view match.
Okay.
It is September 18th, 2003.
Is it on the network?
It is. It's going to be on It's from SmackDown.
SmackDown!
Not SmackDown Live, just SmackDown.
Thursday or Friday SmackDown?
Back then it was Thursday.
And this is going to be Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle
in
the Iron Man match.
Nice.
For the belt.
Okay.
Reason being, number 1, screw you guys, watch an hour wrestling match. Have fun with that. Because it's a good one. But number 2, and I think this is the biggest one, is that you don't see that caliber of a match with those high of stakes on free TV anymore in the WWE.
With those kind of athletes, too.
Correct.
Definitely.
And when you've got someone like Kurt Angle, who's now back, so that's another reason, too. You got Kurt Angle back on WWE TV.
What year was that?
2003.
2003, yeah.
And you've got Kurt Angle in his prime, who could put on a match of the year with anyone.
With a broomstick, they say.
Yeah, against Brock Lesnar, who also could put on a match. It's not the Brock Lesnar that we know now,
right?
Who's afraid to do anything with Dean Ambrose. It is a Brock Lesnar who will jump off the top rope and try a shooting star press.
Right.
It's that version of Brock, and you're getting both of these guys at their absolute best, and it's on free TV.
Yep.
So that's why I picked it.
Okay, I'm interested in watching
Interesting
it.
choice.
I haven't watched that in a while.
So, if you guys out there haven't seen it, go ahead. It's on SmackDown. What was the date one more time?
September, I think 18th. It said
2003. Go ahead and check the WWE Network. Great match. I mean, really, really good choice. Anyone want to add anything before we head out? What were you gonna say?
I was just talking about free Iron Man matches. The next year they did another one. Chris Benoit versus Triple H.
Yeah, but that one's harder to find on the network.
But okay, so you guys go ahead, check out Chris Dunlop's choice for match of the night. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, SmackDown 2003, Iron Man match. So is there anything else that we missed, you guys, or you think that's about it?
Shout out to Roman and
Okay.
Alexa.
So for everyone here at the Champ Is Here show, I am, of course, Kevin Cartier, alongside my compatriots.
Kaliko McGee.
Adam Dunnels.
Corey and Paget.
Chris Dunnels, at me.
With a Z. And thanks for watching the Champ Is Here show. Please like, subscribe, and follow. We are on YouTube. We are on
Instagram,
I almost said
Twitter.
Facebook,
Just
Twitter,
general
Facebook,
social
We will be on Facebook
SoundCloud.
soon.
We're gonna be on iTunes very soon.
MySpace, add us to your top 8.
At Champ is Here Show.
Zanga, Live Journal,
At Champ is Here Show.
LinkedIn.
Champ is Here Show.
At
Google
ChampIsHereShow.
Plus. We're bringing that back.
The strongest brand in the land.
Strongest brand.
Strongest man in